Whee! Jesus wept. What a nightmare that was. Okay, so first of all, if you're watching, thank you. Thanks for being patient. Thanks for still being here. Perfectly good reason for us being late. That being that we had, well, I'll go through it in some detail, but we had a real nightmare. So we got back to the hotel from Bricktastic with plenty of time to spare to have food. But obviously, time it took us to get across to the hotel, Whittaky was panicking that he might not be able to get over to his coach in time. And then there was a delay with his Uber turning up to the point where he was leaving here with just time to not enough time to catch his coach. So we were all waiting with him, and I'm trying to make sure he was okay to leave, which meant that we didn't then start eating our dinner till late. And then while we were eating dinner, Slurpee found out his flight had been delayed. So by the time then we tried to pay, we couldn't find anybody to pay for our meal. And then Slurpee decided that he needed more toilet paper to come to our room and use the facilities. And I couldn't find anybody to ask for more paper. So we got a whole delay. And then, of course, Slurpee got the notification to say his flight is back on time again. So he was trying to book an Uber and he was trying to leave. And then I finally got on at like 7 o'clock and thought, right, I'll just rush through it and make sure we go live. And StreamYard, sorry, but your Wi-Fi connection isn't strong enough to use, isn't secure StreamYard from this Wi-Fi, even though I used Wi-Fi to stream here from Friday night, which obviously you guys watched. So I knew that was bollocks. So we just basically started playing around with everything, turned the laptop on and off, had a little fiddle around. As soon as those two went, because Kirsty was here as well, she's going back to stay with family tonight because all the stuff is there. So she didn't want to bring it to Bricktastic. So she's just going back to stay tonight. We're meeting tomorrow to get a coach. So I'm in the room on my own. Slurpee's trying to leave. She's trying to leave. As soon as those two left, connection became available. So I think it was because two of them were in the room. So it was like my device, Slurpee's devices, Kirsty's devices, all trying to connect to the same free Wi-Fi in the room. I can only assume that's what it was. I don't know. But as soon as they left, it connected up fine. So here we are. So yeah, apologies for the delay and thank you for tuning in. So what are we doing today? Oh, look a bit too small there. So I'm going to call out the chat in just a sec. Obviously tonight it's not going to be the full regular stream because Slurpee's just left. He's not going to be getting home for a few hours. Whittaky's currently sitting on a coach on his way back to Bristol. Nimble is probably still traveling back, or if he's not, he's getting home in time to tuck his little boy into bed and whatever. And then Padawan left a lot later. He managed to get a day ticket for today in the end, so he left a lot later than normal, so he's probably still traveling or just getting home. So it's just my good self, and I've been so busy today that I didn't have time to even ask if anybody else wanted to help me host. So if you're in the chat and you want a link to come on and, you know, help me keep the crowd entertained, great. But if not, I will say that tonight we're going to keep it quite short because there's only really three things I want to do. One is to do the prize draw for the charity event that we did. I'll talk a little bit about that, how we're going to go through that. The second thing I want to do is get an update on the prize draw and see how on the charity, how we did, and just talk about that in brief. I haven't had a chance to kind of really talk about that yet or do any content on it because of Bricktastic. And the third thing that I want to do is just talk a little bit about some of the highlights of Bricktastic. We'll do a full Bricktastic unpacked when all the guys are here so they can get a chance to share it. But I've got a few, just picked like 10 out of like 200 photos on my from my phone. I'm I'm just going to share those with you guys so you get to have a little taster, a little sneak peek at some of the things that we did today, and just generally talk about Bricktastic. So, you know, I'm thinking probably an hour, maybe 2 at a push, and then I've got to pack up this tip of a room, which you guys can't see, thankfully, because obviously all the lads left a load of stuff here after they had to check out today, and some of them were back and forth and dumping off stuff they didn't want, and rubbish and Lego sets and all sorts of shit. So got to sort through all that because I'm here one more night on my own. So yeah. So let's see. Let's find out who's in the chat, and then we can just do the prize draw. Like I said, the main thing is the prize draw tonight. I haven't had a chance to set it up yet, but I will set it up whilst starting with you guys. So Nimble's out there saying I'll be running with the chat. Lewis, who we got to know this weekend, he came up with us for Bricktastic and hung with us all, or we hung with him, I guess, either way. So one with a stud, Lewis. Nice to see you in the chat there, mate. How is everybody? Yeah, a little bit stressed and getting Whittaky off, make sure he went off safely. Then the same with Slurpee and Kirsty, but now it's just me and I can kind of relax a little bit. Sarah's there. Hope you all had an amazing weekend. Yes, we have. Still going on for us. It's been kind of weird because like I got up here first and then I kind of met, well, I'll talk a little bit about the whole sort of general story of it in a sec, but to see everybody slowly start like going home and saying goodbye to everybody, and like I was the first person up here and now I seem to be the last person left, so it was kind of a little bit sad, but yeah, bloody hell, get on with it. Yeah, sorry about that, mate. We yeah, he messaged out before we went live, so sorry about that. We are having some problems. Just left him fine for his life with the Wi-Fi. Great fun. Wouldn't be a cool hang stream without tech devs. Absolutely, absolutely. So Ultra's asking you, Nimble, if you had a good weekend, which hopefully you did. Class. Finally, yes, finally we went live. Yay, premium Wi-Fi sex, excellent. Yeah, I mean, the Wi-Fi was saying that I can use StreamYard, which obviously I can because I'm using it now. But it was, I think it was just because there was too many devices connected to it. His flight was delayed by like an hour, just short of 2 hours initially. So he thought he'd wait and we do like the first half hour of the stream together, and then all of a sudden it was like, no, your flight's back on. So we had to like hustle because he would have left before 7 originally. So he's then had to rush to try and make sure he can get to the airport on time. So where did you go today for dinner? So for dinner we just came back to the hotel to eat because we didn't want to be like stuck over in Trafford Centre, and obviously Whittaky had to come back to get his bags. So we just thought, well, if we're going back to the hotel and not going back out again, and we won't have time anyway, so we'll just eat at the hotel. So we just had something in a hotel bar. Amir GGHS, nice of you to join us, and thanks for watching. Subscribe, like to the channel. Subscribe to the channel and give us a like. Must be absolutely nice. Yeah, absolutely. I think Padron got home quite a while ago. Saw a video posted, possibly, I don't know, but like I said, I think the guys have had, you know, obviously the show is on my channel, so I guess I'm the kind of the responsible one, so I didn't want to just expect people after a weekend of being away from family and friends and girlfriends and loved ones or whatever to then spend an evening there as well. So yeah, everybody do what they want, and we just said we'll do the show like always so that we're here, but it might just be a short and sweet one. So Nick is out there. Nick, how's it going, mate? Hopefully you're home safe. Nick, again, got to know him. He joined us, or we joined him at Bricktastic this weekend. So good to get to know you as well, Nick. And hopefully enjoy Bricktastic. So Whittaky, hi on the coach home. Can't hear you as I've had to mute it, but thank you everyone else for the fantastic Bricktastic. Oh, that's a good way of putting it. Have you not got headphones, Whittaky? Headphones? Hello, Whittaky, Lewis, Nick. Throw a prize draw on me. NET on my site. Oh, mate, Stud Lake. That's an amazing. I'm going to put that up on the screen. I know I did reach out to you. To get I know I did reach out to you to do a prize, and I was going to foot the bill for one, but if you're happy to do one, mate, I really appreciate that. So yeah, we'll put that in. So that was one of the prizes we had put up anyway, but obviously I'm doing the Lego voucher prize, so that will be on behalf of Matt Black Bricks and Stud Lake. So we'll quickly show up their website or his website and show what's up for grabs there for whoever wins that prize when we come to it. Next year I plan on coming up for at least both days. Yeah, absolutely, mate. I think it's definitely a weekend jobby. So because we got family here, it makes sense for us to come up a couple of days before anyway. So I'm trying to get some sleep on the coach, bloody knackered. Yeah, I can imagine, mate. Can't really hop on and put my little one to bed. No, that's fine then, but I assume that was be the case, mate. Anyway, like I said, you guys have all been away from family and friends all weekend, so can't expect you to give up your evening as well. So I would say I'll hop on for a bit as it's a short one, and I've got some things to do. I won't, but I'll stream later. Lol. Yeah, no, I guess, like I said, I'm not going to be going for too long. So there we go. So let's set up this wheel thing first. Now, I did have the names written down, but I could probably remember them. So the winners we had for the charity. So just to kind of, put you guys in the loop with the way things went, is that we had our 48-hour charity streamathon last week. Let's put the image up so that you're looking at that instead of just me. So we had this. Nope, those are overlays. Right, I haven't done it as a thingy, so I will just have to throw it up as an overlay. So it'll just cover me for a sec, which is fine by me. Oh, wrong one. Okay, no, that's just the event closing show. So let's try this one. There we go. So there you go, guys. So as you can see, these are the prizes that were up for grabs. Obviously, we couldn't do the spinny wheel at the time because we hadn't gotten hold of. We did the spinny wheel to draw the winners, and those were the four winners that we drew were Paddy, the theatre dog, aka Sarah, who's in the chat and a keen follower of the show. So I appreciate you for your donation, Sarah. We also had a guy by the name of, let's find out these names. Ken sent them to me. Let's have a look. So another lady named Pambi, who I've now added on Instagram. So I've let her know as well what the situation is. And who else did we have? We had somebody called Steve. We're just going to call him Steve because I couldn't pronounce his surname anyway. But can't actually find the friggin' list now. It's typical, isn't it? So it's Steve, basically. I'll see if I can get his full name. I don't really need to put his full name. We'll just put Steve. That'll be all right. So I'm just going to do it in alphabetical order. And then the other person was known by Bricks by Wally, Kyla and Sue. So we're going to put it down as Kyla and Sue because K is the letter. So the names are going to be as follows. I'll just put them in a banner for you guys so you can see who the winners were. And obviously these were drawn on our show last week, so you will have seen those names drawn out then. I'm not going to go back and try and find them, so I'm just going to create a banner. So the winners in alphabetical order will be A, B, C, D, F, G, H, I, Kyla. Oh, no, sorry. We're going to do Sarah first. I'll explain this in a sec. And then it's going to be Kyla and Sue. Then it's going to be Pam B, and then it's going to be Steve. So, right. So there are four winners. However, what I will say is that Sarah is in the UK. The others are in the US. So what that basically means is that because the two prizes that you can see on the right-hand side are available worldwide, whereas the two on the left-hand side are only available for US, what we're going to do is we're going to put the two prizes into a wheel for Sarah. Spin the wheel, so she's got a 50-50 chance. Whatever that it lands on, that's what Sarah will win. And then the remaining prize will go into another wheel with the other two prizes. So we'll have 3 prizes then, and we'll spin the wheel again, and it'll be in that order. So Kyla and Sue spin the wheel, that's what they win. So we'll do it like that. So that's the plan so far. And we're just going to hope that actually works. You have to forgive me as well for sounding a bit croaky, because obviously between having a bit of cold and flu and feeling a bit bunged up and not getting a lot of sleep over the last couple of days, and then obviously talking and shouting and raising my voice at Bricktastic. My voice is on its way out, unfortunately. So Stephen, hey, just got on the chat show. Stephen here. So there you go. That's Stephen. I'll just put you with Steve. I mean, it's only so that people can see the alphabetical order. Been on a live chat since the start, but was driving. Hey, thanks, Steve. I appreciate you tuning in, and hopefully you can tune in more often. I know you were originally on Pink Wheels' stream, where you were the only person, I think, who'd won that prize, but we decided we'd put your name twice in the draw instead, because you seem to be happy with that, rather than win by default. And thankfully, you still end up winning a prize, which is great. So, so yeah, this is where we're up to. Let's get rid of that, because that's probably slowing things down. But thanks for tuning in, and obviously I'll let people know. So one of the people here, which is Kyla and Sue, they made a donation, but they're not on social media, so they know Bricks by Wally. So obviously what I'll do is I'll get their information off Bricks by Wally and get the information, get their prize sent to them, and get that organized. And then Pam B is on Instagram, so I can message them direct. So there we go. So what do we want to do? Yeah. So look, let's just check before we do that. Let's just check what actually it's probably easier if I do that on my phone. I'm going to check how much we ended up raising for the charity in the end, because the link is actually still open. And if anybody would like to go and make a donation right now, please feel free to do so. Obviously, you won't be entered into the prize draw now, but it would be great to see some more donations coming in potentially, if you were able to do so, or if perhaps you missed out on the opportunity to do so and you'd like to donate something. So our target was $1,000, and we ended up raising $1,616. Unfortunately, we weren't able to get anybody from Fairy Bricks to come on. However, doesn't mean we won't have down the line. And because everything that was going on with Fairy Bricks, because they're also the charity that basically runs Bricktastic and puts Bricktastic on, they were very busy. So I thought the timing would be great to do it the week running into Bricktastic, but it turns out for them it was quite difficult. So not only were they unable to get onto the show, but we haven't really had a chance to communicate with them and say, like, this is what we raised, you know, whatever, and get some kind of recognition for it. But at the end of the day, that's not why we did it. I don't want somebody to give me like one of these giant cardboard checks and say, oh, well done, or us to give that to them, should I say, or like, you know, have us put us and everything we did on a website, or, you know, promote it or do anything, or even to get any kind of recognition that over during Bricktastic and have like a name on in lights saying they did a charity. We never did it for any of that stuff anyway. So for us, like I said, we said from the very beginning it was about the charity, raising money for the charity, and as far as I'm concerned, it could have been anonymous. The all the praise I'm really interested in is giving you guys the praise and thanks that you deserve for the donations you gave. And obviously, you know, I'm talking on behalf of Ken as well, and of course Fairy Bricks, that we just appreciate what you guys did and the donations you gave to get us there. So what we'll do is we'll make sure that we do some promotional material. Like I'm going to do some stuff on Instagram and some stuff on YouTube to just kind of really like shout about what we did, some highlights from the 48 hours, who was involved, you know, how much money you raised, and really try and sort of do like a, yay, this is what we did, and kind of celebrate it like that without necessarily getting that from Fairy Bricks. And of course, the main celebration or the main thanks for everything that went on is this prize draw that we're about to do. So, you know, I know the people didn't donate with the idea of getting a prize, and we hadn't even confirmed what the prizes were at the beginning of this 48 hours. So it's not like people were doing it for that reason. And I think that just goes to show the strength of this community. If they didn't even know if there was going to be a prize, the chances of winning one, what they had to do to win one, that kind of stuff, it wasn't made 100% clear. So, and to still raise that amount of money was fantastic. So really chuffed with that. So let's go random spinning wheel. Wheel of names, random name picker, that'll do. Let's try that. All right, so what I'll do is I'll share this screen with you guys so you can see for full transparency what it is I'm doing as I'm doing it. Don't need any audio for that. Let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of that. Ugh, I hate these bloody things. Okay, guess so. Okay, so how do I reject all? I just want to get rid of this crap. I'll just accept it all because I don't want to shite on my phone. So, oh, there it is, reject all. Let's do that. Right, okay. Let's get rid of these names and let's go for 50. So we did say a $50 gift card, but I'm not sure what that's going to be. So I'll round that up to whatever it is in pounds. Because if it's like, I don't know, £42, I'll just round it to like 45 or whatever. So we got that, and then we've got the matte black bricks. Okay, so as you guys can see, they're the two. Don't see the point of shuffling them. I mean, they're already. I'm not going to add an image because I haven't got any of that stuff saved to my phone anyway. So, to my laptop anyway. So, this is what we've got so far. So we've got $50. At least put what it is, I guess. $50. Or the value of $50, I guess. $50 Lego gifty and a matte black bricks. Let's just do, make it easier, MBB merch. How's that? So we got a $50 Lego gifty and MBB. So this is purely for Sarah. If you're just tuning in now, I do explain the rules further back. I don't want to keep doing it. So this is the wheel. What we're going to do is going to spin this wheel. Whatever it lands on, that's what Sarah wins, because these two prizes are limited to these two prizes are the only ones that are worldwide. So obviously, if we did the spin the wheel for all the prizes and Sarah ended up winning the other two or any of the other two, and she couldn't get them anyway because they can't be shipped to the US, to the UK from the US. So what we'll do is we'll spin this wheel for Sarah. She's got a 50-50 chance, and then the other guys will have a 1 in 3 chance. But of course, I have cleared that with them. So Steve will know, Pam knows, and Kyla knows. So they're quite happy with that. So there we go. So this is the wheel, guys. So we'll give it a few seconds, and then we'll give it a spin. I don't actually know. Where's the button to actually spin it? Do I just press this? Ooh. Right, I guess there we go then. There we go. Hopefully you're pleased with that. Let's get some W's in the chat for Sarah for winning that. I'm new to this. I'm so glad I stumbled upon it. Great cause and great local community. Yeah, thanks, Steve, and I appreciate you being here. Like, don't forget to give us a like and a sub. Follow the channel. Obviously, we do a show here once a week. If you haven't already, then that'd be great. Be nice to have you join our chat. See what else I missed. An easier way of doing this. Hello. Hey, Liam, how are you doing, mate? Nice to see you. Shame you couldn't be with us this weekend, mate. You had a good crack. Hope you win big. Congratulations. Congrats. Woohoo. Thank you. So there you go. So Sarah gets the Lego gifty. So I will make a note of that because I got a tendency to forget important information. So let me get my handy notebook. Now to find a friggin' pen. One right there. So I'll get that sorted now to you ASAP, Sarah. It'd be a lot easier for me because I know how to now issue a gift card, digital one, and send you the code for it. But apparently it's more complex if you've got to do it in another currency. So now I'm only doing it in pounds. That actually saves me some time. So hopefully everybody's happy with the way we've done things, and that is that. So what that means now is we'll do a new wheel, and this will be the remaining prizes. Oh, they've done it automatically. That's pretty cool. So the next prize, so we got that. So we've got a Disney Lego set. The next thing is going to be a $75 BAM, which means Bricks and Minifigures gifty. Now, Bricks and Minifigures only exist in the US, so even if we were able to send that to you somewhere in the rest of the world, or in the UK in this case, you wouldn't be able to spend it anyway. So it just didn't make sense. And not only that, but it would cost to spend it. I had to save it. Same with the Disney set. It's not a particularly massive set, but the cost to send that would be worth more than the set is worth. And because it's a set we've actually bought, normally when we do things like this, we would say we'll send you the value of the set. So if you were to win, a battle pack, we'd send you the value instead. But in this case, the set, it is already been purchased. So, yeah. So we're going to do it in alphabetical order. Hopefully everybody's ready, because I wasn't expecting that to actually work. I couldn't find anything to spin it, so I just tried clicking the arrow, and then of course it's spinning, so I didn't want to then do it again. So no rush, Martin. Thank you. Me too. Next year, mate. Absolutely. We have to get you across, mate, from the old Australia. Perhaps you can jump in with Lego Team B, who, believe it or not, Lego Team B were at Brickworld, and they were also at Bricktastic, and I still didn't get a chance to meet them. They were looking for me, apparently. They saw some of the other lads and asked about me. I just didn't happen to be there at that time. And then every time I went to where their mock was on the table, they weren't there. So sad, really. I just had to leave them 2 little gift bags with my Sig figure and my other bits and pieces, and hopefully they get them at some point. So okay, so this is what we got left. So it's a retired Disney Lego set. which would be a great gift for a youngster. But if you're, especially if hopefully whoever wins that is a Lego or Disney fan at least and would actually enjoy that set. It's a pretty cool looking set, in fairness. Sorry we haven't got like pictures of these things. The only thing I am going to do is I mean, you can imagine what a gift card looks like, but with the Matte Black Bricks merch, depending on who wins that, especially if it's Steve because he's in the chat, we will quickly do a quick show up, and we'll do that anyway, just to sort of as a thanks to Cody, aka Studlake, for offering to pay for a prize or offering to cover a prize. So really appreciate that. We'll do a bit of Matte Black Bricks promotion. So there we go. So there's the wheel, there's the things, and the first name is going to be Kyler. Like I said, we'll go alphabetical order, and this was classed as Kyler and Sue. So if we did Sue and Kyler, she might be in a different place, but of course it's a 1 in 3 chance. It's not like the first person's got, you know, a better list of prizes. So hopefully, again, everybody understands that this is fair and the best way to do it. And so here we go. So wish you all luck. Kyler and Sue, what are you going to win? Oh, there we go. So Kyler and Sue get the, I mean, they probably have no idea who ACOB is or who Cool and Luke is or Lord of the Boys or Ostiff, but I'm sure they'll appreciate getting a t-shirt or a hat or a bag and can make some use of that somehow. So there we go. Kyler and Sue get the Matte Black Bricks merch. So we have to get an address from them to get that sent out after they pick it. We'll remove that. So it leaves 50-50 chance now. The next person on the list is Pam B. So let's have a look. Let's just check this a sec. Oh, very easy way of doing this. No, he did say, I'll just check, and he did say any tee. So yeah, we'll just limit it to a t-shirt, but there's plenty on there. It's mostly what it is anyway. Right, so next person on the list is Pam B. Let's see what Pam B is going to win. So Pam B gets the $75 gifty for BAM, which of course leaves Steve. Hopefully, Steve, that's not too disappointing, especially you might have a little one or you might be a Disney Lego fan because it is a retired set. And I don't think it was easily available either. So Disney Lego set for Steve. So I will be in touch with the Hawks to get that sent out to you. So we will need to get an address from you, Steve. Obviously, don't put it in the chat. If you're happy to send it via Instagram, then I will get that address sent on. But if you'd rather less people have your address, then I can let you know who you need to contact to give your address. But if you're happy with me to have it, I can pass it on to Unhappy Mohawk, and they will get that sent out to you ASAP. And hopefully you've got somebody who will make use of it. So apologies, guys, if you didn't get what you wanted. You had your eye on a particular prize, and congratulations to those who got a prize in the first place, but also, you know, had the prize they wanted. So that's it. That is the prize draw done. Steve, it's a cool set. It is a cool set, actually. I mean, Kirsty was kind of eyeballing her up as well because she likes Lego Disney. So there we go. So let me talk a little bit about this weekend. We've done the draw. We've obviously done an update on Fairy Bricks. I'll tell you what we will do actually next is we'll do the Matte Black Bricks thing, because that only makes sense to talk about now while we're still on the prizes. Oh, it's METTE. I keep forgetting to put the E on Matte Black Bricks. So let's share screen. And I mean, this is a good opportunity for me to promote our merch as well, of course. So there we go. So Kyler and Sue, if you're watching this back by any chance, this is what you've got to choose from. So this is Matt Black Brick's website. I can send you a link for this if needs be. You've got all sorts of different stuff on here, including the new drop for our own channel. What I will say is that take into account that it is a t-shirt, any t-shirt. So you can pick any of these you like, any of these t-shirts off the site. They are in total, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 different t-shirts. And of course, some of those come in multiple colors as well. So you've probably got a choice, I'd say, of about 20 different garments. So this is Matt Black Bricks. He does the merch for our channel. And I'll say this now for anybody who's really interested, is that we don't make it a lot. It costs me to put this stuff on here. It doesn't cost a lot, I'll be honest, but it does have to go through various processes. But the money that I make off these is very, very little, and it doesn't come back into my pocket. Basically, it just builds up until I've got enough to either be sent a chunk of money or to pay towards a new item. So we launched the Cool and Luke Bricks t-shirt, which is this t-shirt right here, back in May last year, so not even a year. This t-shirt came in various colors, so we had it in the black, the green, which I was wearing today, but I've taken it off now, the pepper, and the custard, which seems to be one of the favorites. And this is just a front print. You can see there's a sleeve print with the Ice Cube guy, and obviously we've got Matt Black Bricks on the other sleeve. And that's just the logo for my channel, which is where the YouTube, where this show belongs, or has always kind of lived. However, we did always say that we'd like to do something, you know, to represent the show rather than just be me. So what we've done is the commission made off this t-shirt, the sales of this t-shirt, pretty much paid for me to put 2 new items on. Covered most of the cost to cover these 2. So nothing went back in my pocket. It literally just went back. What I earned from that just basically went back into the channel essentially by launching 2 more items. And then of course the same thing will happen this time. So the sales of these, the commission will build up to the point where we can maybe launch something else. So of course it's one investment that I've made at the beginning, with a little bit of top up, to be able to give you guys the opportunity to have some merch. And look, you know, as kind of, it might sound a bit kind of cocky and a bit big-headed to be like, oh, you got your own merch and expecting people to buy it. We've never really, apart from a little light encouragement, done that. It wasn't me who came up with the idea of doing merch. It was actually sort of the chat, and various other co-hosts said that we should do something similar. You know, I like the idea of going to like a convention and stuff and being able to say, look, we're all wearing this t-shirt, that t-shirt. So yeah, so I think it was, you know, I thought we'd give it a try, and it seemed to work out quite well, because we've got people wearing these t-shirts in Australia, all over the UK, Ireland, different parts of the USA, East Coast, West Coast, you know, all the time zones as far as I know, because, you know, I know Garrett has got one. He's living in kind of Oregon, so he's on the Pacific Coast. You got Fit Lego guy, I know he's got one, and he's in Mountain Time. Pretty sure there's a couple of guys in Central, and he's like Ken and Papa Trip on the East Coast. They've got, so, you know, practically right across the globe, these t-shirts are out there, or the original ones were. So it is nice to see that, you know, unity. And again, we're going to Bricktastic and Brick World. It's nice to see like people wearing this thing, not because it's my name in lights, but because it just shows the, you know, the connection and the collectivity of the community. So yeah, this time we've got a hoodie and a t-shirt. So I'll show you guys the hoodie. It's a great material hoodie. I will say maybe wash it before wearing it, particularly if you're wearing it over a t-shirt that's a different color, because there's a lot of fluff comes off the inside of this, which is standard for a hoodie. You know, I don't think I've ever bought a hoodie where you don't get that. But I made the mistake of wearing mine without washing them. Well, they only arrived while I was at Bricktastic. Thankfully, I had them delivered to where we were staying. So I wore it over one of my t-shirts, and yeah, it was just covered in fluff. So this hoodie came in these colors: black, pine green, cobalt, which is like a blue. We've got the clay, which is Nimble's favorite. He rocked up with this one on the weekend. And we also got in athletic heather. So I have got the cobalt, which is great. Looks really good. I've also got it in the black, which I haven't opened yet. I'll show you in a sec. We've got the clay, which is Nimble. And yeah, it comes in various sizes. And then these are the prints. So the back print has Rock Out With Your Mock Out. So for anybody who doesn't know, Rock Out With Your Mock Out is one of our first official segments for the show, named by our chat. So we gave our chat the opportunity to vote for the name of the new segment about mocks, and this was it. And unfortunately, guys, I will tell you there is no Rock Out With Your Mock Out tonight, because obviously it's only me, but I will show you a few mocks from Bricktastic in a bit. But yeah, and also there you can see there is Blockhead. He's the kind of official mascot of the show as well. Tune in again if you want to find out more about him, but he's obviously on there eating an ice cream cone from the wrong end. We got the matte black bricks logo just above that, and obviously we got his nibs, which we need to name next, on the sleeve there, and then the other sleeve is blank. So yeah, quite a good looking piece. I'll just full screen myself for a sec. I'll show you guys the merch. So the hoodie, obviously that one is still sealed in box. We also got, I won't wear it because I'm going to get fluff all over this t-shirt, and I don't want to do an outfit change on stream because none of the men in the stream will ever feel like a real man again. So yeah, print is really crisp and clean. Sometimes you see these prints on like websites, and then when they turn up, they're not as good. But the print is really clean. The Ice Cube guy on the I kind of like this actually. The Ice Cube guy on the sleeve is a lot smaller than the one on the sleeve of the t-shirt. In fact, this one is even smaller than the previous t-shirts, but I actually kind of like that. So it does make it a little bit exclusive. So I need to stop calling him Ice Cube guy though, but soon we're going to be coming up with a name for this guy. So yeah, really good quality. And yeah, and obviously Cody had only just launched hoodies. He'd been trying them for a while, and so us along with ACOB are the first people on the website, are the first two people, or the first two brands on the website to do the hoodies. So we launched at the same time in February. So it's so yeah, it was nice to be doing something at the same time as someone else, rather than like, oh, they've done that, let's copy that. So you know me, guys, I like the originality sometimes, best you can. And of course, I'm also wearing one of the t-shirts, which got complimented on the color a little bit today with this. So let's take myself off full screen again. There you go. So back to the t-shirts. Of course, this is the t-shirt I'm wearing. So this, if you hadn't already noticed, so this says Cool Hang Luke. So this is the name of our show on the Cool Hand Luke channel. So Red Whittaky was wearing this one today. Again, you might see in some of the pictures soon. I'm currently wearing Island Reef, who Whittaky was also wearing that. And I think I saw, did I see anybody else wearing that? I can't remember. I haven't seen the wash. Oh, I've got the wash denim myself. It is right here. Although I will say it's covered in fluff because I wore that hoodie over the top of it. A little bit creased, but let me quickly screen to myself up large again. Lighting's not the best in here, but you guys get the gist. So that one as well. So I was rocking that one yesterday, I believe, or might be the day before. And then we also got the burnt orange. Just trying to think, was anybody wearing this? I think Nimble might have had this. I can't remember whether he only did a hoodie or not. I feel like I've seen this in person, but again, variety of colors. Slightly more expensive than the previous one, but that's only because it's got the extra print on the back, which the other one did not. Comfort Colors is the brand. Great brand. The difference between these t-shirts and any other t-shirts that I've seen is they've got an elasticity to them. That makes sense. So it's like, I mean, you could probably do that with most material, but it's hard to explain. But it's like got a kind of stretch, not like a stretch fit, but a t-shirt's got a bit more dexterity to it than a normal piece of clothing. So it just gives it that extra bit of comfort, an extra bit of, just feels like a stronger quality tee. So yeah, definitely, guys. Look, I know there's obviously a lot of self-promotion there, but I think I'd be doing myself, I wouldn't be doing myself or the channel a disjustice if I didn't kind of talk up our merch. But of course, you know, the winner of this prize, which is, just remind myself again, Kyla, will get to pick any of these t-shirts. So I've got a few of these t-shirts myself. I've got one of the Lake Effect ones. I've got the Matte Black Bricks one. I've got Brick Connection. Obviously, I've got the Cool Hand one. And I've got the BAN, Boys Ambassador Network. I haven't ventured into any of these plain BAN ones yet. Just because they're not really colors I would normally go for. I mean, I got a million black t-shirts. A white t-shirt wouldn't last 2 minutes for me, and I'm not a big fan of red. But yeah, I got hats and all sorts on here. So guys, go and check it out. And obviously, Kyla, yeah, you get to pick a t-shirt, and that's a prize on behalf of Matte Black Bricks. So we appreciate you, Matte Black Bricks, for donating towards this fantastic charity. So that's that for now. So let's talk a little bit about Bricktastic. So I got here Wednesday afternoon. We stayed with family Wednesday night and Thursday night, and then on Friday I schlepped it very early in the morning. I got a tram. There's a really good tram service in Manchester, which, you know, they come so regular. It's like every couple of minutes, and they go kind of all over Manchester, so you can get like the airport, into the city, to the Trafford Centre, with relative ease. And it's a tap on tap off system, so the cost is next to nothing. They just kind of charge you at the end of the day, depending on how much you've used it. So yeah, so I grabbed my bits and pieces Friday morning, said goodbye to Kirsty, and schlepped it to the airport. Nimble was still trying to find a parking spot at the time, so I waited at the gate with Slurpee. And because I didn't have anything to kind of, I didn't have like a sign or anything, Kirsty made me a little sign. So I'm just going to show you that quick. I won't try and show you that on my thingy phone because it'll be too much trouble. So Kirsty made this. So I was holding this up at the airport, and also a Lego magazine, hoping that he was going to come through the arrivals. And, you know, I was stood there along with some other people holding signs, Mr. This, Mr. That, whatever. But as it turns out, there was multiple arrival gates, and he'd come out of a different one. So he practically sort of came towards me in this direction as I was holding the sign up in that direction. So that obviously didn't really work, but still a good laugh. So I met up with Slurpee. Great chance to meet him again since Brickworld last year. And then it was the job of trying to find Nimble, which was another thing. So we ended up walking felt like around the entire airport until Nimble actually had his phone out filming where he was. And as he was doing that, we were coming around that corner, so I could see myself in his camera in the distance filming me. And there was this Inception thing kind of. Anyway, so we met up with Nimble. Great, had a laugh, whatever. Jumped in the car, and then he brought us into where did we go then? We went to, did we go to the hotel then? No, we went to the Manchester city centre. No, we then went to the hotel found our hotel, parked. We let them know, obviously, we're going to be checking in later. It was too early to check in at that point. Left our stuff in the boot. Got the tram over to the city centre. Met up with Whittaky. Popped in the Lego store just quick. I think we grabbed some lunch then as well, the four of us. And then we met Padawan shortly afterwards. So it was like the five of us. Then we went to the Lego store. Then we grabbed some food. And then we headed back across to the hotel. When we were sort of got back to the hotel and we were walking across the car park, along comes Muttley. So he was there as well. So we met up with him. And then we checked in, all the rest of it. Padawan went off to his hotel and he checked in. And then we all met up over at Trafford Centre, where we met Josh, and we also and then we all went for food. We went to go to the Discovery Centre, which is Lego store in the Trafford Centre, but they also got another Lego store, so we went there as well. And then we all went for food in Coast to Coast in the Trafford Centre. And the Trafford Centre, if you haven't been there, is like the biggest colossal shopping centre I've ever seen. So over the top. We went there for food, and then that was when we met up with Nick and Joel and who else did we meet up with then? We met up with one with the stud was there as well. So yeah, even though he's in the chat right now, somehow I almost forgot about him as well. So so we met up with those guys, and then that was it. Then that was, I think, if I remember rightly, Christ, it was only yesterday. It was only 2 days ago, and I'm already forgetting. But we all had a great meal there, and then headed back, and then that was it. Then that was Friday night done, and then Saturday we all had different time tickets, so we all arrived at different times, and made our way across at different times. It's relatively easy to get to Trafford Centre, so we made our way across to the Trafford Centre on Saturday morning after some breakfast in the hotel, and that was it then. And then we met up with Dan, or I can't remember what his handle is on Instagram. It's Dan the Man, I think, or something like that. Dan the Lego Man. And a couple of other different people from the community we met while we were there. And it was a great time. Like I said, we'll go into talking about Bricktastic, the details of it in a bit, and obviously on future shows when there's more people here to kind of share that story, because I feel like I'm just regurgitating the stuff that happened very recently. And in most cases, the people who were actually there. So we'll get a chance to talk about it in a bit more detail down the line, and hopefully you guys will be able to enjoy that a bit better than just me sitting in a room, trying to remember what happened. But no, it was great. It was a great day. Got to meet other people, like I said, from the community, and then a few of us nipped out for some lunch, went back to the convention, and kind of left there when it was closing. We all headed back to the hotel, and then went for food again over in the Trafford Centre. Another pop into a couple of Lego stores, rude not to. And yeah, that was last night. And then we kind of spent the evening. Of course, we did the stream Friday night, but you guys will know that because you will have seen that carnage. But Saturday night, we didn't do any kind of stream or anything, but we did hang out in Nimble and Slurpy's room. Spent the night there just kind of hanging about, having a laugh, just talking about purchases and what we thought about Bricktastic, and just generally having a good time. And then, got an earlier night. And then, today pretty much the same thing. But of course, as the day went by, we were sort of slowly saying goodbye to different people throughout the day. I'm just trying to remember kind of who went first, because let's have a look. Oh Christ, I got so many messages to read through. It's unreal. So I think Josh didn't come for the second day. So that's who we met as well, Jedi Master Brick. So Luke was there for the day Saturday, but he did leave then Saturday quite early. Josh left on the Saturday before the event finished, so he was off. Everybody else then was at least there till the next day, and then as we were on our way to the Bricktastic this morning, Sunday, Padawan was leaving because he'd gotten in there a lot earlier than us. So we said goodbye to him like in the streets. He went on his merry way. We then said goodbye to Lewis, one with a stud. We actually said goodbye to him about a dozen times because he seemed to keep reappearing. But we'd said to him goodbye to him the night before when he went back to his hotel. But it turns out he was on the same tram as us this morning, as you might have seen on my Instagram. So he didn't have tickets for the second day. He headed home. We did see Joel, and we spent some time with Joel in the event, but he was also there with the parents. So he kind of disappeared off some point during the day. So we didn't get a chance to say goodbye to him, sadly. But I do see Joel quite regularly, and he is on the show from time to time. So I'm sure that won't be a huge issue. But Joel, if you're watching, sorry we didn't get to link up and say goodbye to you, mate. I was just surprised we didn't bump into you again after kind of midday at Bricktastic, because we were, you know, it got quiet to the point where you kept bumping into the same people. So unless he left early, I don't know. So that was Joel, and then Dan and Muttley kind of left then early afternoon to make their way back. So then we were just left with me, or Nimble went then roughly about that time as well, so early afternoonish. So we just left with me, Slurpee, Whittaky, and of course Kirsty joined us for the Sunday as well. So it was just kind of the four of us knocking about then all afternoon. And then we left there when it finished, and you guys pretty much know everything from then, because I started the stream with telling you about the Whittaky almost missing his coach, and then Slurpee, his flight times, and then obviously Kirsty's had to head back to stay with family because that's where all the bags and stuff are. So it's just back to just me again. So so that was it. That was a quick rundown of the day, because it's just nice to know, give you guys an impression of how it all went, and not that we all kind of arrived at the same time and all whatever the same time, left at the same time. And that's it. So I'm just left now in a room which has got all sorts of junk and rubbish and things to be used up, and some things I'm going to show off to the camera, because you know me, by the time I get home and pack everything away, it'll probably never see the light of day again. And then I'll show you guys a couple of pictures, and then that'll probably be it, I guess, because we haven't got anything else important to do. So I was a bit of a what's the word? I was a bit of a tearaway today, because I had this made up when we went to Brick World, and I was kind of stamping people's like hands and arms, and you know, stamping a couple of things, and I actually made it to stamp people's Lego passports, and I did do a few of those today. I think Joel, Lewis, Padawan, I'm not sure, I think Whittaky, maybe Slurpee, all had their passport stamped with this. But I was also getting a bit excited with it around various public and private locations. So if you're ever in Manchester, keep a lookout. You might see this stamp on some random lampposts and walls and trams. But yeah, it's just you know, it's just the same stamp you get on you know, any other. Just give you guys a quick example that you get for any other like Lego stamp. In fact, I actually, when the woman was giving Whittaky his stamps in the Lego store, I was on the same table stamping someone else's Lego passport. So yeah, stay frosty. But yeah, so there you go. So I was a little bit of a lunatic with that. What else did I get? So we took part in the Soapbox-tastic, which I'm going to show you a little bit about in a sec. So we managed to pick up this brick for the Soapbox-tastic 2026 competition. So that was something pretty cool. In terms of other merch, got this, the coveted Lord of the Boys 1x8 printed tile. I got this from the main man, one with the stud. I mean, that print seems to have worn off a bit. Did you do these with permanent marker, Lewis? Because I'm just going to rub off. My favorite color, green, so I went for that one. He had a few of those to give out. I also got this from Slurpee, because as you know, we may try to make up the entire family, Blockheads family, with these different colors. So this is a peach color. So I've now got an orange, a peach, a baby blue, a green, and a pink. So try and get all of these eventually. So it's the 2x3. So yeah, Slurpee kind of made this up in the Lego store and gifted it to me. So I really appreciate that. But I will be ripping the head and everything off this. That's to represent me drinking real tea as opposed to the herbal tea that I drink, because I got some stick for that. These are the teas I was drinking while I was here, although Witticky did participate in some of these. So peppermint and licorice, because I don't do caffeine and I can't have milk, so I tend to drink herbal teas. And so yeah, so for that, and I got the Nimble's favorite Twinings peppermint. So yeah, so there was a bit of that. What else did we do? I picked up this from the convention. So it's a USB powered lightsaber and hilt. It's reflecting off it really badly, but probably can't see that any better. That should be right. So I haven't actually tried this, and the wire is not particularly long, so I don't think it'll stretch to the. I don't think it'll stretch anyway. So actually, let's try it on the stream. Why not? So, oh, actually, the wire is pretty long. Might be long enough to plug in. Oh, there you go. So yeah, just a tiny little thin wire, which, you know, if you weave it right, you can weave it through Lego bricks and sort of up through the Lego minifigure so that, you know, it doesn't really show. And then yeah, you can have a little light. So that's actually pretty cool. The lighting doesn't do very good justice, but it does look fantastic in person. So I actually got 2 of those. God knows where the other one was. I think I got a red as well. I got a little bag of parts. So I'm a huge fan. My favorite clone, my favorite clone platoon, or I don't know what you want to call them. But my favorite commander is Doom. So it's the sort of Doom Squadron, or whatever you want to call it. So I'm a big Commander Doom fan. So there was all of the custom parts to make a Commander Doom. So actually, that's not him. Just held the wrong one up to the camera. It's me wearing these friggin' orange glasses doesn't help. Tip these out. I'm not going to show you everything, but yeah, so there he is. So that's Commander Doom. And then he got all the accessories to kind of make up his armor to make it look like it's actually him. So all the bits and pieces. Jesus, looking at through these glasses, everything looks a completely different color. Yeah, so we got the custom blasters and a few other bits. And for spending over £10, they gave me these custom gold Desert Eagle pistols. So you get a pair of them for every £10 you spend at this customs thing. And actually, I just realizing now that they gave me 2 lots. So I've actually got 4 Desert Eagles. And then I got a bunch of these kind of, so that's for Commander Doom as well. So it's like the skirt piece to customize just a clone to look like Commander Doom. Now I'm looking at it. I don't think this is actually the right body piece. This is for a completely different clone. I think I must have picked up the wrong one, which is a shame. But I've got the skirt piece. I think there's a pauldron piece here as well for him. I just picked up a bunch of random stuff. I think when I picked up that body plate, I think I thought that was his, but it's actually not. Ah, right, no, this is his. So he has a shoulder pauldron, which is a plastic one as opposed to a material, which I think is better. So we'll go with that helmet. I think there should be a visor for him as well, but I obviously didn't pick that up. It was so, one thing I will say about Bricktastic, he was so busy trying to look at the mocks were not too bad. You could get around and move around the mocks because there were so many. I would say it was like 90% mocks, 10% places to like make purchases. So sellers, merchandise, things like that. I'd say, well, actually, no, I'd say probably about 80-20 in terms of space. There were like activities and things to do as well, but in terms of just those two, the percentage was that. So of course, with there being so many marks and so much space, you were able to see the marks quite easily, and people were kind of free flowing around. But when it came to like this where people were selling sets and selling customs and accessories and things like that, you just couldn't move near them. And even if you did manage to wangle your way to the front, it was just so busy, and it was really warm in the convention center as well. So just couldn't really kind of relax and focus. So I think that's why I've dropped the ball there, and I've actually picked up the wrong piece. But it's fine because, it's not like I show off my sets to anyone. I just like the idea of having a custom Doom, because they don't actually have a Doom figure. So what else did I pick up? I managed to pick up, I did a one Sig Fig exchange. Not many people with Sig Figs at Bricktastic, because it's not as synonymous with that as Brickworld. But I did get a Mad Lib sticker and the Mad Lib Sig Fig I was really chuffed about. To be honest with you, there wasn't anybody there that I hadn't had their Sig Fig before from Brickworld. I think the only person whose Sig Fig I haven't had is Greg's from London Bridge, because he never seems to have any on him. But I did get the London Bridge brick, which I will show you in a minute if I can find it. So that was pretty cool to finally pick up one of those, because I think I missed out I did miss out of Brickworld as well. I gave him a Sig Fig goodie bag of mine, but he didn't have anything on him at the time, and then he just never ended up catching up to get it. So, but I did get the London Bridge 1x8 brick as well, so that can go on my stack with the others. But my goodie bags were made up of the following. I think I got one full goodie bag left. So mine were made up of a Cool Hand, and it's a kind of glossy but also like kind of reflective. You can the camera doesn't do it justice, but you can kind of see it's like a rainbowish reflective sticker. And those got dotted all around Manchester as well, as you'll see when I do more content about it. We got the Thraigor Welsh Red Dragon flag of the country, but on the back you've got the QR codes for my Instagram and YouTube, with obviously the Ice Cube guy and my original logo. And then inside the pack as well, you also get the Cool Hand Luke, obviously with the glasses on and the ginger beard, and 2x4 printed tile. So because I've only got one of these left, and because Sarah, you're the only person in the chat who is in the UK and realistic, what I'll do is I'll get this sent out to you as well as an extra gift, because obviously, we were hoping you were going to be able to make it to Bricktastic. Hopefully you'll be able to get there next year, but I know you're not necessarily a huge Lego fan primarily like the rest of us, but you have gotten into it, and obviously you've been building some Harry Potter sets and stuff. But because we don't know when we're going to see you in person, I'll get one of these sent out to you as well. If you just send me your details, then I'll get one of these sent out to you, because it's my last one, which I guess would have gone to you today if we had got the chance to get you to the event. So that's what's in my goodie bags. But yeah, a lot of the people I saw today already had it. I've got some spare goodie bags, but these ones don't have the tiles. They ran out with the tiles, and I probably won't be redoing those because I picked them up in the USA. So what else did I grab today? So I picked up this poly bag. It's a first order general, but it's exclusive to this poly bag. So I thought that was pretty cool. The only thing I think exclusive about, actually no, I think the torso and the face are exclusive. But yeah, it was only like £5, so I thought a chance to add something else to my first order officer collection. What else did we get? I picked up just one of these because what I want to do with my own Sig Fig is I want to have a custom, slightly different armor to the one that comes in my Sig Fig. It's not a lot different, but I think the legs are pretty much the same, but the body, the torso, I want to be the same, different to everybody else's, so that I'll have a Sig Fig. My Sig Fig will look slightly different to everyone else's. And then give my Sig the opportunity to have a helmet at his side when he's not, you know, got his sunglasses and beard on the go. And I've always liked the Ahsoka, particularly the colors. They match the beard. So I bought that today. It was only a few quid. It was like £2 or something like that. So chance to have another one of those. That's that. That's everything from my backpack. I will say I did pick up some loads of stamps from the various Legos, the 3 Lego stores we went to. I mean, my passport is actually getting pretty full. But these are all the, apart from the ones that say Brickfest, because they were already on there, these are all the stamps I got, all the smaller stamps I got from various places throughout Manchester. The one thing it didn't do is I got the Trafford Centre one, and I got the Lego Discovery Centre one, but I forgot to get, like, these ones here are specific to the store. Sometimes some stores, that's all you get, but I completely forgot to get the one from the normal Lego store. And apparently there was also a B one. This Manchester B one, there was also another one of those for the store, which I forgot to get. So, but I'm in Manchester quite often, so I like to, well, I say quite often, more often than probably any other city. So, apart from stuff near home, so hopefully I get a chance to fill those out soon. What else? Oops. What's that? I don't even know what's in this. Oh, I picked up a patch. As you guys know, I like patches, and in particular, anything that's Star Wars or Lego related. Don't have a lot of Lego related ones. I was hoping to get a Star Wars Lego patch from a patch jacket, but we didn't have anything Star Wars Lego. We did get this Lego half skull, half minifig head. I thought that was pretty cool. So picked that up for like a few quid. And those are that was the main thing I bought, so I'll show those in a sec. What else did I get? So I also got this today. This is one of the last things I purchased. So it's a brick built, like Star Wars kind of hallway. And it's got like the parts on the side. There's one, this piece at the back, this piece on the side, and there's also 2 pieces, like a piece up there, a piece there. So it's four separate printed bricks or printed parts. So 2 of them are window pieces, and then there's 2 just standard bricks. And all of them are printed, which I thought was great. I mean, you normally pay quite a lot for just printed pieces, but for this and a fig to go inside it, which I'll show you in a sec, was £20. I thought it was a really good deal. So this was the fig. So you got a choice to pick an armor, a type of armor or body armor. So you could have there was Jedi, there was sort of Sith, but then there was Jedi with the clone armor as well. So I picked up this guy. There was also a female version available. So you can see he's got the, I use as a background. You can see he's got the clone style armor, arm printing on both arms, 2 lightsabers. The lightsaber blades were actually a frosted type, which I know Lego's ones have become more frosted, but these ones, I think they must be custom ones because they're way more frosted than anything I've seen. They are, yeah, dual molded legs as well. At least I think so. Yeah, it must be because it goes all the way through. So yeah, so dual molded legs as well. Let's just do the hand. Dual molded legs, got the armor, obviously the face print. It's only a single face print, and it's a pretty standard one, but it's not a standard Lego print. And then obviously you've got the cape. Cape's not printed or anything, but it's a nice crispy brown cape. And then obviously the hood. So that, to sit inside here, he also give you the chance to have 2 lightsabers. So I just went with 2 greens because green's my favorite color. So that altogether, 20 quid. And to be honest with you, I'm surprised. I would expect to pay 20 quid just for the fig, because of the quality of the printing and everything on it. But to get all of that with those printed parts, I mean, this obviously, as you guys know, stuff like this is cooler to me than some sets. I know that 20 quid could have bought me a set perhaps I don't have, or a battle pack or whatever, but for me to have that on my display at home in the background where it kind of represents where I got it from, and yeah, I just thought it was really cool. So stuff like this is preferential to me. If Legos did more of this kind of thing, I'd be buying less sets and more of this. It'd obviously be cheaper as well, but this suits my display style, small but impactful. And we also got this for my daughter. Actually, no, I won't show it on stream. I don't think she ever watches the stream, but I won't show on stream because I want it to be a surprise for her. So, but it's a figure of something nothing to do with Star Wars, but in Lego, and something Lego would probably never do either. So, so that was a little fig for her as well. What else? Ooh, so I took my Boxer Boys plate only because it was like, for me, this is supposed to be a Brick World thing. And obviously Padawan brought this to Brick World for me and posted the rest. But I just thought, because there was so much empty space on it, and everybody had decided to do that thing where they wrote in lines when I wanted them to just kind of write all over the place, like when you have famous people sign a movie poster. No, everybody decided they're just going to write in lines. So no matter how much I told them. So this was how it looked so far. So I've got a few more signatures on there. The only problem is I've completely kept forgetting to get it out and have people sign it. So Whitkey's on there, Slurpy's on there, one with the studs on there. So Lewis managed to sign it as well. Madlib is on there, and Padawan is on there. So I've missed. Oh, and Joel is on there. So I still haven't got, from the people who were there over the weekend, I didn't get Muttley, didn't get Dan the Legoman, didn't get Josh, I didn't get Jedi Master Bricks, and I didn't even get Nimble Saucepan, which is really a shame because I'm not going to see him again for a while. But I just kept forgetting to tell people that I had it, and so I was carrying this around with me all day, and the Sharpies to sign it, and just kept forgetting to tell everybody I even had it. So sorry guys if you're listening or watching and you didn't sign it. Maybe next time. The other thing we did, me and Kirsty did, is I actually did it on the Saturday. The reasons for why I'll tell you again, but I encourage Kirsty to come and do it. So you pick up a bucket of bricks, which have already been kind of relatively sorted. They just grab a handful of each of the colors on that card, and they give you one of these cards, and you go sit down, and then you just kind of follow the pattern. They have like a little key on the table, but for somebody like me who's done Lego for a while, you kind of, just by looking at the colors, you know what they are. But they did describe them on there anyway: dark brown, dark blue, whatever. Most of them were. I mean, this one's quite intricate. That's got a lot of different colors. Whereas this was Kirsty one. This was my one, and you can probably see down the camera, but on there, there's actually 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 5 colors. So you've got dark green, dark blue, dark brown, dark gray. So 6 colors, and white. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 6 colors. But obviously, so there was a giant mosaic in the middle of the convention hall. Each person sat down, grabbed one of these, bucket of the blocks, put it together. So it was a 16 by 16. Is this one? Yeah, 16 by 16 plate with all the bricks, and the bricks were just your standard 2x4, 2x2 bricks. Place them on. So these aren't like tiles; these were actual bricks. And once you finished it, then you could go round and they let you into the center because the table's all around the outside of this giant mosaic. So you're kind of looking at it and watching it come together as you're building. Take it into the middle, you get to place it in the correct position, they'll tell you. So as you guys can see, I got to actually do, this is the T and the S of the word Star Wars, which I thought was pretty cool. So yeah, so I've got some photos, which again, I'll show you on the next stream, of us doing this and then taking it up and putting it down. So between Kirsty, me, and all the other guys, the camera footage, the vlog footage, the photos, and all that kind of stuff, we got like we could probably fill a 4-hour stream just going through everything. But again, I didn't want to, with everything else we had to do and trying to keep it relatively short, I didn't want to do everything tonight, especially with the other guys here, not to kind of share that celebration and review it with me. But yeah, so I will show you a couple of photos of us doing this and what it looked like towards the end. But yeah, so that was pretty fun. I also picked up this from, and this is everything. I'm going through everything that I got for you guys, because then that means on the next stream, everybody else can focus on showing off what they purchased. So also picked up this from Joel. Obviously, you guys should know the story by now of how Joel went to the Lego store to pick this up for me, and it's specifically the Cardiff grand opening. Now, I did go to the Cardiff opening, as you guys will know, or some of you will know, but they didn't have these sets available, and they didn't even mention that there was a set, so we didn't know anything about it. It wasn't until a few weeks later Joel happened to be in the Lego store and they were giving these out for spending so much money. Seems a bit of a cop-out, because obviously we'd already spent money at that point, but in my case, Joel was good enough to go buy a set and then take that set back, so you just essentially got this for free. So really appreciate that, Joel. Big shout out to you, mate. And obviously, as you can see, it's a cool little Lego build for the Cardiff store opening. The only frustrating part for me is that it happened to rain when we were on our way home the first day, and this was in my bag, and it kind of got a little bit wet and a little bit tatty. I mean, you guys know I don't tend to keep my boxes, but I was going to keep this one in the box sealed, because I think this has got better presentation value than the set built will have. I don't know, I'll see how it goes, but yeah, just a little bit gutted. The box got a little bit damaged, but yeah, definitely going to cherish that, because again, Cardiff, I was born and raised in Barry, which is, you know, around the corner from Cardiff, and Cardiff is the capital city of my country, and you know, it's not often you have a Lego store open near you, specifically not in the capital. So, and obviously being there with the guys who came there with me, it even got the tile there saying Lego Store 2025, and also managed to get this, which I might swap out for that potentially. We'll do something else with. I love Lego Store Cardiff, and you'll have seen from Slurpy's vlog, and when we covered the Belfast store opening, which obviously was really meaningful for him. We already had a Lego store, so not quite as meaningful, but it did relocate slightly. So Joel managed to get me one of these as well, which is fantastic. So cherished things. I'm never going to be that kind of goes like, ooh, resell. I know some people think like that, but for me, it's just like, does it mean something to me? And then I only buy it if it does. So therefore, I never have to worry about resale, unless I fall on hard times. What else? So I bought a pick brick, and this, I'm not going to open it now. It is chock-a-block. I spent time, I think probably about 40 minutes, maybe an hour, just making sure I completely filled this. And I purposely only got bricks that were going to help me. Maybe if a few other bits and pieces in there that might be handy, but generally like 90% of this is bricks that were going to help me to build my soapbox car. So my plan for my soapbox car was to get the chassis from the sets that we bought. So we went halves on, me and Whitkey went halves on one of the sets, which was the soapbox car sets. And basically we just took the chassis, which is like one big piece, as you can see, all kind of one big piece, and then obviously you attach the wheels with Technic pins, and then everybody, as you saw on the stream, was building, and they made some fantastic ones. So check out those on Instagram for everybody who did come with us, and anybody who did go to Bricktastic would have done this as well. So the soapbox thing is like a little sort of slope thing they have, and they just kind of put 2 or 4 races on there, and they just kind of go down the slope. It's not a competition to see who wins or who's the faster, so it doesn't really matter what happens, even if it just kind of falls off the edge. It's just the entry, and for entering that, obviously you got the Soapbox-tastic brick just for entering and building something and taking it. But also there's a competition that's now running after Bricktastic, where you have to get a form to fill out, and you have to have had your photo of this taken at the event. So if you didn't attend the event, you wouldn't be able to enter the competition, and the voting will take place to find the best, and it will be like an elimination thing. So what I will say to you guys is, look out on the Soapbox-tastic Instagram page, and please vote for mine. Now, it was minimal effort, as you can see, because I literally, unfortunately, because I was taking care of the stream while the other guys were building, and by the time we packed up the stream and everybody kind of left the room, and we went for a few drinks and came back to the room, it was too late. It was like gone midnight, so I didn't get a chance to build mine. And then, of course, last night was pretty much the same. So not, I could have gone today and done it. I could have spent some time last night and done it, but I didn't really want to miss out on other fun for that. So I just kind of did like we do with the show, minimal effort, just put one of my tiles on there with my Lego minifig, And that's it. That was as simple and as straightforward as that. But I think it is a representation of me and the show, where we just kind of do things on the fly, last minute. But how good would it be if I ended up winning as well? But obviously that's up to you guys. You got to go along when you see it and vote. Obviously I'm going to be sharing on Instagram, but anybody watching here now, please go and check this out on Instagram when you see it pop up and give this a vote. Let's see if we can get the Cool Hand, Sig Fig and Welsh flag through to the final, even though it's probably the least effort soapbox entry ever. But I think that's why it makes it even more funny if it does win. So yeah, so I didn't get to do it. So this obviously box of bricks still remains sealed, and I've got all these bricks to make what I was going to make, which was actually a dragon, a red dragon. Something kind of similar to this. And then I have my Sig Fig sitting on it, but I didn't get a chance to do it. So I will try and focus on doing that as a piece of content down the line, and maybe enter it next year. What else did I pick up? Is there any other goodies that we missed? Oh, so there was a make and take event on. Now I did this make and take for this exact same set in the Lego store for May the 4th, a couple of years back. It was like a little B-wing. Believe it or not, this is actually quite complicated to build. But this is a cool little sort of polybag style build, but obviously these are exclusive to make and take, so you can't actually get this in a polybag. So that's pretty cool to get another one of those, because I don't actually know where my original one went. So yeah, me and Slurpee sat and did these together while Slurpee was stinking the place up around all those kids and families. So well done, Slurpee. And also, yeah, for proving that you've got a insider's account. That's all you have to do, is show them that you've got an insider's account on your phone. You also got to pick up one of these cool little Lego silicone purses, or Lego insiders silicone purses. Obviously I don't carry a purse with me, but I think it might be pretty cool to put, like, I don't know, some figs in, or I don't know, I might end up just giving it to like my daughter or something, but I don't even think she would use it. But I just thought it was something pretty cool. You could probably imagine these are going to start popping up all over eBay right now. But it was nice to have a cool little giveaway that was actually Lego, from Lego. So yeah, little silicone purse. So I'm sure I'll find something to put in there. I think actually what I could have done with is put my mics in there, because I don't want to take like the entire box out with me everywhere to go, because it's quite heavy. But like today, for example, I could have probably popped them in that little purse. It would have been cool. What else have we got? And then, yeah, so Muttley, good old Muttley, as you guys know, he likes to buy 20 of everything. At some point has bought 20 of every polybag that ever existed. So when we were doing the Soapbox-tastic in the room, when we streamed, he brought a bunch of polybags to the room, and I didn't hear the reason for him bringing them. So when people were kind of looking at him or whatever, I thought he was either selling them, or I think someone did mention that he brought them and that we could use some of the parts from him if we needed to help make our soapbox. So I thought, oh, that's a good idea. So I grabbed one and asked Muttley if I could have one, and he was like, yeah, of course. So I grabbed this one because I thought some of those pieces might help with the dragon, which I never ended up using. So my plan was to give it back to him, because he was gracious enough to give it to me. But then last night when we were at the other boys' room, he brought them again, and I was just kind of like, you know, what are you doing with these products? Are you supposed to be trying to sell them? Are you trying to exchange them? And he was literally like, no, I'm trying to get rid of them. Like, I'm there for you guys to just kind of take. So I just grabbed a bunch, and you know, I don't usually, I am going to build them all. I actually built one last night. I built this one, the little kind of transformer looking truck. It's a pretty cool little set. So I ended up coming away with a bunch of polybags, which again, I'll probably use most of them for parts, but there are a couple of cool ones there that have got some like unusual pieces. I've got this Atlantis shark one. Got this one for Kirsty. This is pretty cool. It's like a zombie riding a casket on wheels. And then I did grab this one as well, because again, a couple of red pieces in there. Not that I'm short of red pieces, but a couple of red pieces in there that might be handy for when I mean, actually, I'm going to build this first, because I think this part looks pretty cool. Potentially rob us a few pieces off that to make the dragon. So when the hell is this banner still here? Where's Whittaky when you need him? Yeah, so just so you know, guys, we're not going to be doing any of the regular things. Not going to be doing mock of the week. I will put this up. It's actually 1,616 now, so we had another $10 donation. And that's all in aid of Fairy Bricks. Again, I don't think I said this at the beginning, so apologies, but Fairy Bricks is a charity who literally take donations and buy Lego to give to kids in hospitals and hospices around the world. Last year, they managed to give out 60,000 sets, so that's 60,000 children who managed to receive Lego at some point during their hospital time, which I think is fantastic. And that money, as we were raising it, was going straight into their account. Although we were able to track it, it wasn't being held in a pot or anything like that. It's gone straight to them. So they've already, I'd like to think by now, probably spent some of that or all of that money on sets. And those sets have gone into the hands of children in hospitals, thanks to you guys. So I really appreciate it. So yeah, let's turn those off. And we will talk more about Fairy Bricks in the coming weeks. I just heard a Lego piece flick across the floor. We're finding Lego everywhere in the hotel. There was a trans neon green piece on the floor last night, which I stepped on. But so what else did I get? I think, is that everything? So much crap here. I think that is all of my looty from the stream. Oh, there's the red USB thing. So can't wait to put those into action. And I don't think I've missed. Oh, no. So the main thing that I bought. So for some of you guys who know, in fact, I'll quickly see if anybody's commented, because again, I haven't got Whittaky here to do the comments. So I'll see what people have been saying, if anything, whilst I've been gassing on about all my pickups. Jesus. It's been a lot. Sorry, guys. I just wasn't looking at the chat. I'm on a mad one. Me and Liam next year, mate. Congrats, Steve. It's a cool set. You got any sig figs left, Martin? If you're asking me and not Martin in the chat, then yes, I've got one full sig fig set, which I'm going to send to Sarah. I would offer to send one to you, maybe it'll probably cost more than it's worth to send. But of course, if I'm at Brickworld next year, this year, which is, again, unfortunately, it's unlikely, but if I'm at Brickworld next year, I do have some more sig figs, which have got the card and the sticker, but the plates that I had printed, which are these ones here, I only had so many of those, and most of them went out of Brickworld. I did have a few left over, thankfully, so made up a few more figs, but they were actually quite expensive, and I can only pick them up. I actually got them from, kind of see the sticker there in the background, the BBG Forge. The only reason I was able to get them is because PNG ordered them for me, and I picked them up from him in the US. They don't ship to the UK, so I wouldn't be able to order more of them if I wanted. So if I do anything else in future, or if I do go to Brickworld, I'll probably do something a little bit less, maybe a slightly different sig fig, or just the stickers. I don't know, because like I said, unlikely I'm going at the moment, but if I do, I'm going to try and tone it down a little bit and save a lot of money. So might do nothing, but I will try and make sure you get something, mate, if I do get to Brickworld. Yes, So Nimble was rocking the burnt orange tee. I remember seeing the hoodie, but I couldn't remember if you saw I can remember the tee. Had to pop off briefly, but back now. Thanks, Lewis. How's the fluff now? Yeah, it's going to need washing before it all comes off. Thankfully, I didn't put a hoodie on over this one. It's a very light color one, so the fluff would have shown up on this one a lot more. You didn't just have one lunch, you fed Slurpy Greggs for the first time. Yeah, Slurpy had never had a Greggs, guys, so we gave him a Greggs. And if you're not from the UK, you probably won't even know what we're talking about, but Slurpy had his first Greggs, and there he is in the chat. What is up, lads? Sorry I didn't see this earlier, mate. Probably on his flight by now, but probably did that from while he was waiting for his flight. Yeah, so tired. Haven't even flown yet. Smokey's in the chat. Smoke, hey! What's up, Smoke? Don't want to shout it like I normally do because I'm in a hotel room. Called it that's cool. Jesus, called it the Slurpy would be in, yes. Yeah, Yeah, you're right, mad bastard, with that. Oh, he's talking about with the stamps. Jesus, I don't know how far back do these messages go. Slurpy, Smoky, you still not flown? Good grief. That's clever. Not sure what you're referring to because I'm not up to date. Congrats on the double deagles. Double deagles. Not sure what you're referring to there, but do you mean like the Deagle and Smeagol? I didn't actually pick those up, so maybe you're talking to someone else in the chat. I need the Dragon Tile in my life. Yeah, you'll be getting one of those, Sarah, because it's not going to cost me anything to send it to you. Slurpy, miss you, lads. Yeah, miss you too, mate, already. You know, literally just went. And I'm sorry you had to leave. I got to say a proper goodbye to everybody's day and hugs and whatever. And obviously, Whittaky and Slurpy were probably the closest to have everybody. Whittaky kind of left, under sort of duress. And obviously, we were waiting to have our food, so we kind of had to leave him waiting in the hallway, and then he ran out. So that was kind of stressful for him. And then Slurpy had to kind of leave in a bit of a rush as well, so didn't really get a proper goodbye to him as much as I would have liked. But no, hopefully we'll see you guys again soon, and we'll try and arrange some kind of get together before the summer. I have your trouble now. TikTok won't let me go live. Oh, mate, tell me about it. Crimson Toaster's in the chat. What's up, Crimson Toaster? Thanks for popping in, mate. Somebody named, I've seen you in the chat before, Dominic. I'm not going to read out all those letters and numbers, but thanks for watching. If you're still here, for any crazy reason, subscribe to the channel and give us a like if you haven't already. Papa Rex is out there. I did see you earlier, Papa Rex. Good to see you back or still here. Thanks for being patient on this stream. I know it hasn't been, I wouldn't say as organized as normal because I've never freaking organized anyway, but it has been a bit more shambolic than normal, let's say. Hand loop brakes, I bought something great yesterday. It's a Jada Toy 132 scale speed racer Mach 5 and a Stormtrooper themed 2012 Dodge Challenger. God damn. Yeah, we'll have to so did you change your logo, Dominic? Because I recognize the name, but I always go by the logos. I don't recognize the logo. So I don't know if you've changed it, but you obviously, you're not new here the way you're talking. So I do appreciate you, and apologies for not recognizing you better. The more you're in the chat and the more you interact with us, and the more often you pop up, the more kind of part of the Cool Hand family you'll be. Most of the guys who were in the chat up above you and below you started off in that way in most cases. Some of them are new from other chats and stuff, but Paddy the Theatre Dog just kind of randomly appeared one day, and then now she's like one of the crew. So stop putting yourself down. Is that for me, or did I put myself down? Yeah, I think I was just talking about how shittily organized these streams are, but I can't remember putting myself down for anything else. Or maybe it was about the Soapbox-tastic thing. But yeah, like I kind of have to with that, because it's not like I couldn't do it. It was more like I chose to hang with the guys and have a drink and relax than do it. So it's my own fault, but I still think it's kind of funny. And I did sit down and I had the chance to probably have maybe half an hour or so last night and this morning, but I just thought, you know what, this is just embrace it. Let's lean into it and not try and be something I'm not, and just do a zero effort version. So when you talk about your favorite part of it, the smart bricks, no, I will not be talking about smart bricks, and they are not my favorite part. And also smart bricks make me feel like I've vomited in my mouth. We did, though, and I feel really bad for this, and I'll admit this now. We did decide to kind of cave in, and when it got really quiet in the afternoon today, once everybody had kind of gone, it was just me, Slurpy, Whittaky, and Kirsty. We decided, let's just queue out for the smart break. There was hardly any queue. We'll queue out for it, and if we got time, we'll do the Bantha, exclusive Bantha make and take, which you could only do if you'd been to see the smart brick thing. We decided we were going to join the queue. It was quite small. Let's do it. Let's, give in. After saying that we won't do that, we're not touching the smart bricks are puke, whatever. Went to join the queue, and they're like, sorry, we've closed the queue now for the day. We're like, hopefully nobody saw us. But anyway, Excited to get the Dragon Tail. I have a shelf to put up for figs. Amazing. That's amazing, Sarah. It's nice to see you. I know you weren't, like, I know that we didn't introduce you to Lego, and obviously you're a Harry Potter fan, so you've had a couple of figs anyway, a couple of sets anyway, but it was nice to see you kind of embracing Lego slightly more just from us. Oh, I just found a little bag with some more things in that I forgot to share. So first of all, I managed to pick up this version of Sabine. Like, I'm a huge Sabine fan, particularly the figure, not so much the character, but the figure, because I like Mandalorians, but the kind of the less troopery ones. I've got the other 2 versions of Sabine. There's 4 in total. No, sorry, I've got the other 3 versions of Sabine. It's 4 in total. This is the last one I had to get. However, obviously, I don't have the one with the ridiculously expensive helmet. I have the fig, because that fig came in 2 sets, one with a helmet, one without a helmet. But I don't really care about the helmet as much. I just wanted each version of Sabine. So I managed to get this version of Sabine, which is the last one I wanted to get, because the set she came in are more expensive or harder to get than this fig would have been alone. I didn't really care about. I think this was in a 2-pack set with Tie Advanced, which I'm not that bothered about. And the other figs weren't particularly great in there. And it was kind of retired around about the time I'd come back into the hobby. And the other set it was in was a calendar, 2017 calendar, which the rest of that calendar was of no interest to me. So yeah, but I always wanted this fig from that set and calendar. So managed to get that for a really good price today, and it's in perfect condition. I mean, I couldn't see that until they'd sold it to me, but it may as well have just been taken out of the packaging, because it is crisp, clean. And of course, a hair piece changes for every version of the fig. If you guys didn't know, each one is slightly different. So effectively, it's the hair piece that's worth probably the most. However, the print for the legs and the torso is different for every version of Sabine. Very, very slightly different. So that's another thing, because they're quite artistic looking sets, and she's obviously an artistic character. So I think that's pretty cool. And I was a bit like Sabine today, because Sabine is known in Rebels for tagging places and tagging and doing graffiti. And I was doing a bit of Sabine in today around Bricktastic. So the other thing was, we had like a tombola. Now, I didn't even look at the figs. You could either, if most of you pay £3 and they got one of these tombola things, and you put your arm in without looking, you pick out a brick. And if you get a white brick, you get a minifig. If you get a pink brick, which is like 1 in 100, you get a poly bag. And if you get, I don't know, whatever the other color was, let's say a blue brick, which is like 1 in 500, then you get a set. And they had I think the same 3 sets were there that were there the day before, so I don't think anybody had won them yet. But anyway, I didn't particularly want any of the sets or the poly bags, but I didn't look at the minifigs. Pulled out a minifig. Me and Kirsty both had a minifig, and actually realized that not only did they have pretty cool minifigs in, I don't actually know what this belongs in, but I'm pretty sure I haven't got it or don't have the sets it belongs in. But this is a pretty cool minifig. But also, it's brand new. Like, I thought it was going to be like just some used fig or whatever, but it's crisp. It's literally been popped out of the poly bag or wherever it came in. But I think they must have got these from Lego in stock, like in piles, because there was like hundreds of each version of there was hundreds of each figure, and there was only about 20 different figures to choose from, but there was like loads of each, and they just kept refilling them. So there's no way that they've, these must have been donated by like Lego or something, because yeah, and they were crisp. And the good thing is, like, if you wanted to keep going up and going up and going up and getting figs, you could have ended up with an army of these for a really good price. I don't even know whether this is worth £3, but it's just the fun, I think, more than anything else. They also have the Snow Troopers, the older version of the Snow Troopers, ones that have got like the backpack with a little tile on. I was quite tempted to get one of them, but I know I've got that figure. This one, I wasn't sure if I've got it, so might have a little look on Bricklink later, but we'll see. So that's that. Oaktown's in the chat. How are you doing, Oaktown? If you'd been here at Oaktown, I would have said to jump on and you could have helped me host, but I'm going to close it down very, very soonly. Very, very soonly. Very, very soon. I kind of wish I went through the smart brick thing to see what it's all about. Yeah, I know Muttley went through it. Muttley was probably the only other person apart from me who was ripping into it. And calling it for what it was, which is a turd. But he did actually go through in the end, and I think you get to like pick up the sets and swoosh them around and listen to the sounds. But I'm probably for the best that I didn't go through, because if I did, I would have ended up just basically mercilessly bullying it, obviously in front of staff, which would be good. So one thing I wanted to get from Bricktastic, I mean, all these little bits and pieces, obviously I wasn't planning to buy, and they're just things that either I got for free, or cost very few, or was nicely surprised by. But I wanted to get like a set, an actual set, not like, I got this display thing with the minifig in there. That was a nice surprise, but it's not really a set that you can buy. I wanted to get a set, no matter how small it was, that I needed from my collection, whether it be a retired set or a set I haven't bought yet, but obviously a good price. Even though there was sets I saw there that I haven't got and I would like, they were either ridiculously expensive and way out of my budget, or I wasn't that bothered about them, or they were sets that were currently available and I could probably get cheaper elsewhere. But I would like, sometimes it's nice to come away from one of these conventions with a set to say, yeah, I got this set from there. Because those things I do always remember where I bought everything from, where I got it from. Because I wasn't able to do that with Star Wars, one thing I did find there, which I never expected, because I've never seen this at a convention before, is they did have classic sets there. So like older sets, and I'm talking sets from like the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, 90s, right all the way through, lots of different themes. And now the themes that I was into that got me started with a Lego, I'm talking about, I had Lego as a baby, where I would have been building like Lego bricks or whatever it was that was available at that point. But I don't really remember that. I'm talking about when I was old enough to go and buy sets myself, or I had sets bought for me and I was building them myself. And that was Castle, it was Space, and it was Pirates. So Pirates was probably the last of the two, because that had just launched. I think it was like 1987-ish time. I did actually enjoy that theme for quite a while. The Space I'd been into like right the way through. It was probably the first one I really liked, and also the last one. And then obviously the Castle sets. And the Castle sets, I feel like we had bought for us more than we bought for ourselves, because I never really got into that whole medieval thing. Like I said, castles for us were just part of everyday life here. So for me, it was as interesting as buying a car, or buying a bike, or a phone box, or something like that you just see every day in the street. And I never like to buy sets like that. I like to buy, fictional stuff, or relatively, or like otherworldly stuff, So that was my kind of thing. So never really had any sort of all the sets were called Legoland then, but before they split up into like Lego City and all the rest of it, it was just all Legoland. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to find a set, since this guy had them, but I could never get anywhere near the desk. It was too crowded. It was too piled up. I know Slurpee did a deal with the desk, and he managed to get a set, and I tried to spend some time looking, but there was just so many people there looking, and lots of kids who were just kind of tugging sets around and pulling stuff everywhere. They just think, I just got to walk away. But today was relatively quiet towards the end. And of course, best time to get sets as well when you're buying off resellers, because they obviously don't want to have to take it all back with them. If they can do a better deal or lower the price for you, then that's an opportunity for that to happen. So what I did was I went over and had a little look, and I just said to the guy, look, I want kind of mid-80s, early to mid-80s Space, Castle, and Pirates. Can you show me what you got? So he showed me his Pirates. There was a set there that I did have, so I put that to one side. He didn't have much else. He only had about 4 or 5 sets from that era, so they were either like sealed larger sets, which were like in hundreds of pounds, which I didn't need a sealed one because I'm going to open it anyway. And obviously I would have preferred better condition, but I wasn't really that bothered, because essentially all I was trying to do by doing this was try to kind of have something in my collection that was a little bit different, which is just Star Wars, but that was representative of what got me into the thing. I also wanted something relatively small so it can go on my shelves at home. Again, you guys know, small display type stuff like this is more up my street. So I just thought, if I can get like one, even if I can get one from each of those themed sets to go on my shelves and be like, yeah, that's not the set that I bought or had bought for me as a kid, not the actual set, but that set I did have, and now I've been able to get it back. And kind of, and I know people are into that kind of thing, getting sets back that they used to have, Would have been great if obviously I'd still had the box and the set complete. And to be honest with you, with these two sets I'm going to show you, the parts for them, because I don't think I've ever really lost parts for them are probably in my collection at home, but they've either gone into mocks, or they've gotten damaged over the years, or they might have even gotten lost, or they might be kind of chewed up. And certainly the figures would be like, completely destroyed or in bits. So I, as much as I could probably go home and then pass out and all the rest of it, I just have a kind of like a knackered old set. So I just like the idea of being able to rebuy these sets and have them at a really decent price. Again, I wasn't prepared to spend hundreds. So he brought out the castle sets, and I had a little look through them. And again, there wasn't many there that I actually owned, except for just the fig packs. And those fig packs were, in both cases, sealed. So therefore, they were ridiculously expensive, like in the hundreds. And I didn't really just want figs. I wanted a set with one fig to sit in it. So it was actually kind of perfect, because then when he did bring out the spade sets, I did find a set that I remember buying. Don't physically remember buying it, but I know that I did buy it, because I would have been, this was the like kind of second version of Space that came out later in the 80s. And at that point, I would have been buying sets for myself with my own pocket money. So I'll show that set first, because I know I 100% had this. I also had a lot of the Space Police sets. And it was this set here. So again, I don't physically remember going to buy this, but I know that this would have been either bought for me or I would have bought myself, because this was when they launched these kind of new helmets with the visors. Obviously the previous version, the classic Space helmets. And I don't really, like, obviously I had those as a kid, but I was at the point then when I was, they were being bought for me, but this was when I was old enough to go and take my own pocket money and buy, and they changed them slightly and they'd updated it, and this kind of black and blue style was, in, and it just looked great, and I loved it. And I remember playing with these over and over again, and I had these newer version of the astronauts in like loads of different colors, and they were great to me. It was nice to be into something that long ago and see it change to like a more modern version. So these were like I had the new, going into school and saying, I've got some of the new Space Lego sets, even though, like I said, this was probably about, let's see if there's a date on the box actually. So yeah, so this is 1989. So I've already been buying this from my own pocket money at that point. And yeah, do remember this set quite fondly. Cool set. And they were just so simple then as well, Not a lot of colours. He's only got 3 on the set itself. There's only 3 different colour parts there. None of those being a trans colour. So yeah, pick that one up. Now the price that's on the side of this, I don't recognise the sticker. This is the price sticker. So if anyone knows what type of price sticker this is, because back then the price stickers for shops didn't necessarily have the branding of the price. I remember when I worked for Iceland, we just had sort of price stickers that we used a gun, you turn the dials and do the gun and press it, and it didn't actually say Iceland on it necessarily. So, but it was actually £1.99. So in dollars, that would have been about $2. It might not have been at that point, but now it would be $2.50. And that would have been like probably 4 weeks pocket money for me at the time, because I would get 50p a week around about this time. So I would save that every week and go and buy one of these sets for myself. But the actual value of it now, and this is more like the pricing stickers I was talking about, was 28. So they're the kind of price stickers that most things had on them, no matter what shop you were in. So there's not always a way to tell where you bought it from, even if you did have the original sticker on there. So I got that one. That one was worth 28, and then I also picked up this one. Now this one, the box for this one is in relatively good condition. Those Lego boxes then were so much simpler. They were just kind of like that, and then obviously they'd go on the hook, but in most cases, from what I remember, they were just sat on the shelf, and then you just kind of pull this and it would kind of open like that, and then there's your kind of parts. So they were very easy to keep back, and I know obviously if I needed to, I could have sort of taped that down, and I can tape that down. So whereas with thumb tabs now, it's difficult to put that set to make it look like it originally did, but with this one, if I had that sitting on my shelf like that, you wouldn't know that wasn't like crisp sealed. It's in very, very good condition, this box is, to be fair. So I was really pleased with that. This one's not in quite as good condition, unfortunately. Same size box-ish. Yeah, exactly the same size box, actually. This one would have been from slightly earlier. No, this was 1989 as well. So again, would have bought this from my own pocket money. A bit more simple. But I do remember Pirates launching, which I think was 87, I want to say. And again, this would have been like on the lines of, I guess a battle pack at the time. Would have been one of the smaller sets. Now, there were smaller sets than this, where you've just got a fig and a tiny little, like a pile of rocks or whatever it might have been. So this was actually classed as like the next thing up. But I think this is probably the equivalent of probably a micro fighter or something like that at the time. So it wasn't the smallest set you can get or the cheapest set you can get, but it was down there. And the thing is, then we didn't have a lot of different price points. You'd have something like this, then you'd have like a little island, like I don't know what it would have been, probably a 12 by 12 plate with like, a little island scene and maybe 2 figs, and then it would have jumped up to, a small ship and then a big ship. So it would have been like maybe 5 different price ranges as opposed to now when there's like dozens. So the box on this has got a little bit of ripping on it. Obviously, whoever bought this originally has kind of just ripped the sellotape off it. I don't know what. No, there wouldn't have been sellotape on it. So I think what they've probably done is someone's taped this up at some point to resell it, and then somebody's taken that tape off. So I'll just rip that off because the box is, I can't save that now anyway. But yeah, somebody's kind of opened this cack-handedly and the tape was kind of ripped, but I don't really mind because my plan is just to kind of tape up the box and make it look tidy and have that on my display in the back. Very small box with the build sat on top of it, and that's it. And it's just for me. I mean, it's getting on the display, so of course it's probably for you as well, but just be nice to just have that nostalgic feel. And that's as far as I'm going to go with it. I'm not going to go out and try and buy more sets, try and rebuy all the sets I used to have and rebuild my collection. None of that. This is it. Bricktastic 2026. I went and got 2 sets that I had as a kid that I probably bought myself, earned myself, and got wait a second, let me just charge my sorry guys, completely forgot to put the laptop on charge before the stream. I'll do. So yeah, just Bricktastic 2026. Decided to get some sets as a reminder. Next time I go to a convention, if I ever go to another one, it'll be a Star Wars set from my collection or a rare Star Wars set that I've always wanted. But for Bricktastic 2026, my main pickup, my main sort of collector piece was 2 sets from my childhood that take me back to where it all began. Almost 40 years ago. So so this one was quite interesting because this one was actually Woolworths. Now there is Woolworths, a variation of Woolworths exists in the US and possibly other places, but in the UK it was like a kind of, I mean, it used to sell like ham and cheese and stuff like that back when my mum was young, and she actually used to work for Woolworths when they had like deli counter and stuff. But people who were kind of my age, maybe Whittaky's age, and maybe Slurpee might remember this from when they were younger and nimble, but Woolworths was just your regular store where you could buy records and sweets and toys and stationery and clothes and everyday type stuff. Kind of like the modern day B&M. And unfortunately, even though Woolworths was a kind of national treasure on the high street, along with places like WH Smith's, they are now gone. So they existed online for a while as the Big W, but yeah, they disappeared now. So actually, I do realize that this one does actually have a thumb tab. I wonder if this one does. Oh yeah, they did. I didn't even, like, I never would have guessed that. They did actually have thumb tabs back in the day. But I just remember opening them because you couldn't just open the end. So I just remember, like, when it came like this, I just remember like tugging on this till they ripped and then open it like a kind of chest. And then taking the pieces out and then slinging that. So yeah, the condition of this isn't the worst. I was only really worried about the front because I know that when I kind of get rid of this bit of tape, maybe tape it down, and maybe I can prop this back up again and tape the rest down with the box empty. It'll, it looks relatively good. It's not like the front is all ripped or the pattern's ripped or the box is torn down the middle. It's very, very good. And the only thing that does spoil the front for me is, the only thing that does spoil the front is the sticker at the front, which does actually say Woolworths on that price tag. But it doesn't for me because I probably would have bought this from Woolworths at about that price. Because again, this one's $2.39. So, and this one's $199. So, you know, same kind of price range. I do feel like this one came out slightly after this one, but I can't quite remember. They both got the same year on them. So, but this one was actually worth £35, even though it was only slightly worth more. Came out at the same time, and the condition is worse. So it just goes to show that I think Pirates has probably got a bit more collectivity than Space, and there's probably a lot less parts in this as well, because it's literally just a boat and some accessories and a cannon. But I mean, the cannon did have the firing thingy on it. I don't know. We'll see. So that's that. And yeah, obviously the slightly older Lego logo, which has changed a couple of times since then to what it is now, but not a lot. And yeah, and there's the Ginger Pirate as well. Was one of the things I was happy about. This was the main, one of the main pirates. But when I say a pirate, it's classed as a pirate set, but this isn't actually a pirate. These are the good guys. What was classed as the good guys? So the Federation or whatever that was chasing the pirates. But I just like the fact that he had that ginger beard. I think it was really confusing at the time because some of the pirates had the same head prints and even the same hats as the good guys. So, like, I'm pretty sure this bearded guy and that hat was also on the main pirate guy with the peg leg. But yeah, this is supposed to be a good guy, so it was almost like he was fighting his brother. That was always a bit weird, but didn't have anything to compare to at the time, so because the only other kind of faces I saw at that time were just your standard smiley face. There was no like other prints on them really. So anyway, total for the two of these, as you guys, I know you guys are interested in all this kind of crap, but the total for the two of these, as you can see, would have been 63. Managed to get the two for 55, so we got £8 off, which I think is pretty good. And again, I wouldn't have got that if I'd tried to get them earlier in the convention. It was just probably because it's towards the end, and I didn't even have to haggle. I just said, like, will you do both for 55? And he said, yeah. So there's sets. I'm going to quickly just have a little look at them because I haven't seen them. Now, I know these sets have been opened and played with probably, but you know, because they're not new, but I haven't seen what the condition of the parts are. So I'm just going to quickly take a look at like one part and the minifig. Holy wow. So this minifig, if they'd told me this is sealed and I'd popped it open and put this figure together myself, it wouldn't have looked any different to what it does now. So this has either obviously been in the hands of a very careful child or a very careless child in that they didn't really care, or it's been in the hands of a collector, because this is as clean, as crisp as any other figure that I've, you know, a Sig fig, and then the figures that I bought, which are clearly good condition, new. There's not even a fingerprint or anything on it. It's, yeah, the condition of this is clean, crisp. All the joints are still stiff. I don't even think it's been moved out of that position. So really pleased with that. Looking at the instructions, I mean, at home I've got the instructions for this, or I will have somewhere. I might have even shown them on the stream before. They've clearly been used, so it has been built. They're not, I would say wouldn't even say they've been used that much, but there's a lot of, it's quite crumpled. So that tells me that, if anything, it might have even gotten damp. That might have been from like damp, or where it's been moist. It's been in like an attic or something, and it's just kind of crinkled a little bit. It doesn't look like it's been, like, you know, played with a million times. So what did you do with that fig? Right. So yeah, fig instructions. I'm just going to pick out like one part and just kind of see the quality of the part. Good thing is these are common colors now as well, so I wouldn't say the part itself is as clean and as crisp, but certainly, I mean, if I bought these from Bricklink as new and they arrived, I don't think I'd question it. But if I'd opened them myself from a sealed pack, I might have been like, wait a sec. So I would say the condition of these is a 9 out of 10, maybe even a 9.5. Well, you can see it's been built because some of the parts are still in place, but these joysticks are still really tough. The print on the Space Police thing is still in good condition. I mean, these tires, obviously I've got these tires and they get really dirty and grubby really quickly because I used to obviously play with them out in the street and in the garden and stuff. But they're still really tough. They're like crisp. They're like, I feel like a kid has had this potentially. So I don't feel like people were collecting Lego back then. There was no collectors back then, I don't think, or they were very rare. A kid has had this, built it, maybe railroaded it across the table a couple of times and put it on display, and was probably, you know, had lots of other sets and stuff. It's gone back in a bag. Parents have just, you know, encouraged them to look after it, and then it's found its way into the hands of a collector, and it's been in that back and forth to conventions probably for the last, I don't know, 30 years or so. That's what it looks like to me. I'm really chuffed with that. Really chuffed with the quality of that. So that's that one. Let's see if the pirate one is as good or better. Right, let's see what I've missed in the chat again. Need a wiki. Kind of wish I went through the smart brick thing to see what it was all about. Yeah, okay. Hello, how was the Lego convention? Yeah, well, that's what we're talking about a little bit tonight, Garrett. Sad you couldn't be there, mate. Obviously, it would have been great to get you across as well. But yeah, generally very, very good. Was it as good as Brickworld? No. Could it have been better in a lot of ways? Yes. I'll give my overall score at the end. I don't want to talk about too much because I think it makes more sense to have other people here and give it a balanced view. But if it wasn't for the guys, meeting up with the guys and you know, having like a gang of people here and obviously having Kirsty there today, I think the score would have been a lot lower for just the convention itself. But just scoring the entire trip, Bricktastic and everything that's attached to Bricktastic, very, very good. Just like with Brickworld, where it wasn't just the convention, the laughs we had with yourself, Garrett, and other people in the room and for food and all the things that were kind of attached to that trip but weren't necessarily the event itself, made it the kind of 9 out of 10 that it was, or the 9.5 out of 10. Whereas with Bricktastic, same. But if I was just scoring alone, or if I just myself went to the convention and then left and went straight back home afterwards, the score would have been a lot lower, because I honestly think Bricktastic probably has got a long way to go. And there was things that I would kind of question about how they did it and things like that. But overall, great experience. Like the trip, the hang with the guys, getting together, you know, everything we did in and around and including the convention was a clean 9 out of 10. But the scoring the convention alone, like the mocks were fantastic. But if I had to score everything, which is like location and size of the place and the environment and how it was laid out and the quality of the food, the price of things, it would be a 6. Because I think logistically speaking, it could be a lot better. The biggest thing that loses points for me for this event is that you can't buy a sticker, a Lego brick, a plate, a tile, a t-shirt, a lanyard, a badge, a pin badge, a patch, a sticker, a key ring, a pin, a magnet. You can't buy anything that says Bricktastic on it, or Fairy Bricks. There's no merch at all. I tried speaking to one of the women today about merch and why they don't have it, and she was kind of really blunt, probably because she asked the question a million times, but she does need to kind of think about her answer, and maybe then people, or you know, maybe pass that message on to people, because she was one of the people wearing a Fairy Bricks t-shirt, which I didn't, considering Fairy Bricks was the main sponsor, I didn't see a lot of Fairy Bricks representation around the event. And now I would like to know more about. That's not a judgment. That's more of a kind of just observation. But her kind of flat answer, as in she's either rehearsed or been fed up of asking, was no, we like to put all the money towards the charity, towards giving Lego sets to children, which obviously I'm 100% behind. We've just done a charity event in aid of that. But in most cases, people who have t-shirts, keyrings, badges, they do them to make a profit. That's how commerce works. So we're not saying spend more of money that should go to children on giving us goodies. We're saying if you did a t-shirt, a sticker, a badge, which would cost you the equivalent of, I don't know, £1 to make a pin badge, let's say, and you sold them for 3, 4, 5, that profit then also goes to, do you see what I mean? So we didn't quite get that. We didn't really get an answer from any of the people we asked that kind of made sense. If anything, most people we spoke to, particularly content creators and some of the people who were like volunteering or whatever, they were kind of bemused by it also. But look, obviously, again, you know, I don't know how long it's been going. Don't know the full history. Maybe they're not at that point. Maybe they just haven't got the kind of resources to do that. But it's something we'd like to see, because it is nice to go away for something that kind of represents the event directly. This was amazing that we got to have the Soapbox-tastic. Would have liked something with the Bricktastic branding on. The only thing we did actually manage to find was someone was printing mugs. Obviously, I didn't really want a mug. It's not the kind of thing people would necessarily pick up and take away. But they were printing mugs, so we had something. But, you know, people want something Lego adjacent, you know, a brick, a keyring, something. So we actually got I haven't got it with me. Kirsty must have had it in with her stuff, but we actually had like a brick like this printed. You can get your own thing printed on it. So we had the word Bricktastic, but it's not the Bricktastic logo. Or, you know, like I said, if it'd been a tile like this with Bricktastic on, or like I said, keyring, patch, sticker. I mean, these stickers, I got like, I don't know, 200 of these printed for £40. And these cards, I got like, I don't know, 1,000 of them printed for 30 quid. Do you know what I mean? So, and again, in their case, they'd be selling them. So, you know, if they had a card like that, just a card that you just, I don't know, would put like in a I don't know, in a little plastic sticker frame or a sticker or something, it would have cost them the equivalent of like a penny to make one of them, and they could have sold them for 2, 3 quid if no one would have bought one. And then that money all goes to charity. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I don't want to badmouth it because I don't know the real thought behind it. But in terms of those kind of logistics, questionable. And obviously, I would like to know the answer. So if anyone's watching and knows a bit more about it, I would be interested to know. Nice pickups. Thank you. Would you join us all for 2027? Yeah, I'd definitely go back for 2027. But like you said, meeting you guys, getting together, having laughs at the hotel, going for food, going to check out the Lego store, just generally kind of vibing with each other, getting to know each other better, building some Lego, that would make up 70% of what made that 2027 and 2026 worth doing and fun. The other 30% would be the convention. So I can say that if there was a Star Wars convention on next year instead of Bricktastic, I would probably enjoy it as much, if not more. So the Lego thing was just kind of not as important for me, an element of this trip, as I would have expected it to be. Like I said, we had a lot of fun outside and around Brickworld as well. But for Brickworld, I would say it was like 40% of the fun and excitement of that trip. The other 60% was the event itself. Whereas this, I'd say, was probably more like the other way around, if not less. Oh, there we go. Matt's in the chat. Hey, mate, absolute pleasure to meet you and all the lads this weekend. It was a total blast with family. Just can't tune in for the show, but all the best to you and everyone in the chat. Yeah, absolutely, mate. Look, I appreciate you tuning in at all, or popping in at all, because, like you said, people have been away for a long weekend and want to get back to their families and stuff. I was just lucky enough that Kirsty was up here with me, although she only attended the convention the second day. So I got a chance to spend time with family and friends and my fiance. So it was kind of three of the best for me. So, but yeah, and look, obviously, you know, it was worth shouting out as well. Nutley, big shout out to him. He donated the set for and a really good, rare, cool set that every single one of us really wanted. for the competition. He gave out a load of poly bags. He picked up the bill when we had food the first night. I don't know whether he wants me to mention that or not, but he wouldn't let us pay. He picked up the bill for all of us to have food, and you're talking like 11 blokes. So that was like mind-blowing. So appreciate you for that, Muttley. Forever thankful. All these poly bags, like he said, he was giving out. I know he gave a few of the other lads like sets as kind of gifts and stuff, which was great of him. But you know, and ultimately, you know, one of the keen and most avid fans of the show. But I think the biggest thing for me with Muttley was the fact that we had another face reveal on the show. So Muttley finally was exposed to the world. I know he's probably not going to want to do that on a regular basis, and we would love to get him on the show as a guest in the future. But for now, I was just happy that, you know, he was here, sat on the bed, on the stream, maybe not front and center, but he did do the build, and you guys got to know the man behind the profile there with Muttley. So, and I know Muttley's been in the Lego AFOL community longer than any of us. I don't actually know how old Muttley is, but, you know, he's kind of between mine and Whittaky's age, but still has been in the game, the social, you know, the kind of social media, if you want to call it a game, but the Lego AFOL community for longer than any of all the rest of us. So, so him to finally kind of be on stream and show his face and kind of meet us in person even was a real honor that he was kind of did it with us and on this stream and on the show. So, but yeah, you're right. People mean merchandise takes a long time to develop. So yeah, Brickworld events. If that is you, Mark, yeah. Look, I know, and we did say I was chatting to Greg London Bridge, and I've also taken some amazing photos of some Fabuland mocks. So hopefully you'll get to appreciate them if I can send them to you. But or if nobody else already has, because obviously Lego Team B were there and Greg was there and a few other people from the community. So, but I get it. But I just think, like I said, I was able to make stickers and cards. I just don't know how it could be that, like, all the other people were selling, you know, stickers and different things. It's just finding it strange that they didn't do something. Like I said, I know it's not the easy thing. You don't just kind of click a button and you've got like 1 million stickers to sell. But I just think it's kind of, that's one thing that it was a bit like with Brickworld, where people told us about it and hyped it up for us. But when we got there was even things that nobody had mentioned. We were finding new things and more exciting things. But with Bricktastic, it was kind of the other way around, where we were kind of hyped up to be like this great thing. When we got there, we were like, wait a sec, is there no merch? We can't buy like any merch. We can't do this, we can't do that. In fact, Padawan had a conversation with somebody over the chat, and he said that one of the sellers was printing Bricktastic bricks, but they were going to be limited supply. So some of the guys went over as early as possible and went straight to that desk in the morning on the Saturday to try and buy them. And apparently that was a bunch of horseshit. So why they told him that, or what the reasoning for that was, I don't know. But yeah, just crazy to have a Lego convention and not have, especially the biggest Lego convention, one of the biggest Lego conventions in the country or in the Europe, from what I've been told, and not have, you know, so much as a sticker or a printed brick, was surprising. I'm not saying it's disappointing. I mean, it was disappointing for me, but on a whole, there may be a good reason for it, in which case disappointing is a strong word. But I was surprised. Like, all of us were genuinely like, wait, what? Really? Nothing? You know? So, especially because there's a lot of smaller conventions around the UK that have been going nowhere near as long that have all those things. So, but yeah, like, there's probably a good reason for it, Mark, and you would know better than anybody else in this chat. But it's just a question I want answered, basically, and I would like to know the official reason, because none of the when we did ask several people either had no answer or their answer didn't make sense. So, but it is a bit backward. Merch could be a real money spin. I always look for stickers. I have them all over the place. Me and Kirsty pick up like pins everywhere we go, and I don't think I've ever been to an event of any kind, certainly not something of that scale, where they don't have a pin to represent what it is you're seeing. But I'm not going to harp on about it. Let's just look at this set. So we got the other set, which was this, and then I'm going to close it off. Right, okay, so straight away I'm looking at this fig. I'm not quite as happy, mainly because somebody's written a giant L on his back. I mean, you're not going to see the back of him, but looking at the rest of the fig, yeah, so this one's clearly been played with a bit more, which is annoying because this one was more expensive, even though there's far less parts in there, albeit bigger parts. They're far less parts. Okay, so the joints are still really, really firm. So again, this is probably just, and I can see there's dirt like under the arms and dust on the kind of, you know, in the arm, in the kind of elbow pit. But that just tells me it's just been sat on display because the arms are clearly haven't been moved a lot because they're really, like, I think I got this figure somewhere, obviously I've got this figure somewhere in my collection, and the arms are like wobbly as hell because they've been moved around so much. So this has just been sat on someone's collection on display probably. I just don't know why they would have put L on the back. It looks like it's been done in. It's not Sharpie because there's a, you know, you can kind of feel it. So I feel like that's kind of like one of these kind of silver paint pens or something, because this is silver. You might not be able to tell, but it's silver. There's a blob there and an L. So that's annoying. But in fairness, apart from dirt, and when I say dirt, it's not like grime where it's been played with in sand and dragged across the floor, and it's not dirt like, you know, a million kids have touched it and it's got snot all over it and stuff like that. I'm just talking about dirt that would probably be on your favorite minifigure home right now, like dust that's settled on it, because the joints are really crispy, and the face, which is usually the thing that, or the torso where the print is, usually the first things to go, and the torso and the print on the face are immaculate, like it's never been touched. So I think it's just been in this position, and then any dirt and dust has gathered around. Whereas, because when I move the arm, you can kind of almost feel how I'm doing next to the camera. Bit of ASMR, minifig ASMR. Has anyone done that before? That'd be cool. Here we have the minifigure. The elbow is moving. But yeah, it's really crispy, and so it's just been sat like that, or possibly even sat down. Not even that, because it doesn't look like anyone's ever done that. I just bent those legs. I feel like I'm the first person to do that ever, on this fig at least. So the condition is really, really good. I'd say like a 9 out of 10. All I'd have to do is dust off that bit of dirt, and again, it'd just be a brush. There's no scrubbing involved. There's no like putting in the washing machine needed. It's just a quick bit of dust with a dust thing, and this is a 10 out of 10 fig, except for that on the back. I think maybe this was, I don't know, maybe there was a little boy called Lewis and another little boy called John or Steve, and they just put it out on the back to say it was his. Maybe they had two figs the same, but again, like I said, they've taken this figure out, they've built it, maybe played with it once, and it's been sat on the shelf, and then probably put back in a bag a few years later and stayed there for 30 years. Let's check some of the pieces. See, the boat piece, you would expect there to be like some dirt, some grime, where it's either been in water or it's been dragged across the floor. I can see that it's been built because there's slight differentiation in color, and I say color, might just be a bit of dirt, a layer of dust. There's a bit of dust in there, and where the, you know, this has gone on the back. But other than that, there's not a mark on it. Same with this. You can kind of see the lines, but that's just dust. It's just slightly dusty. Maybe some of it came off then. But other than that, it hasn't been. It doesn't even look like it's ever turned. The spring on this cannon is as good as new. These were always a good sign of wear and tear, because these, as anyone knows, these pieces would snap all the time. I don't think I ever had one of these flags where it didn't snap, except for the older Castle flag pieces, the wavy ones, because they were a bit more of a rubbery plastic, and they also had like they went on the tube piece, so they did better than these, and these came later. But that is I can't tell whether it's not quite as white as it used to be, but I think that would be with age rather than being with light, because sometimes just the white pieces, the older they are, they just yellow over time, just like paint on your walls at home. It doesn't have to be dirty, it'll just over time, white will turn into yellow. Now, these old grey pieces, or old light grey as it used to be, now we've got light bluish grey, dark bluish grey, but these are the old grey pieces. This piece could be brand new off like a pad wall or something like that. Yeah, it's just a fine bit of dust in it, if that. But this piece here, I feel like this doesn't match the others. This looks like maybe this piece went missing, and whoever picked this up, added it to their collection to resell, was missing this piece and tried to replace it with a new one. A used one. But all of these parts are in immaculate condition. Your camera can't really do it justice, but even on the grey, which weren't particularly shiny, there's a nice glisten on them because they're crisp. These oars, I mean, I got some of these in the house and they're chewed up to high heaven. Why I was chewing oars, I don't know, but this I will say is, if every other part in here is a 9, and with the dust, it would be a 9.5, maybe a 10. I mean a light dust with a brush. This is more like a 6 or a 7. And it's strange that this piece would be more, and it's not necessarily tatty or really in bad condition, but you can tell it's been used as a bit more than dirt. And there's a couple of, I can't really see it on this camera, but yeah, you can just pick up there's a couple of nicks and scratches on the edges. It's not going to affect my experience, and I might have a better one of these in the house anyway, but I think this piece is like what the minifig sits on in the bench, so we shouldn't have seen any more wear and tear than other pieces. Sometimes you can buy Lego sets where one piece might be more damaged than another because of where it was in the set, but with those I can't see any reason why that would be any more damaged. So I think that's been swapped out because it was damaged or missing or whatever. Most likely missing because the others aren't damaged at all. So that, I would say, with the light dust, is a 9 out of 10 just because of that one piece. And the space one doesn't even need a dust. That's a 9.5. I can't call it a 10 because clearly it has been opened. But a 10 would be I've literally just opened it from the packaging. So again, didn't look at all the pieces, just looked at 1 or 2 from each and the minifig, and I'm really pleased with the quality of those. Like I said, I wasn't that bothered overall because otherwise I would ask the guy to open them and have a check before I bought them. But no, overall I'm quite happy. So yeah, so that is my complete haul. Well, that's not my complete haul because I know Kirsty's got a few bits as well, but I think I did quite well, and mostly small items because obviously I've got to take. I'm not flying or anything home, but I have got to fit things into my bag, which was full coming. So I've got to try and find space for all these extra things. But like I said, most of them are small, so it's not a huge issue. But yeah, that was it, guys. So look, I appreciate you, being patient while we started up late because of tech issues and seeing the boys off, and B, listening to me basically just reel off talking about Bricktastic, my experience of Bricktastic, but showing you guys everything I had. I know you guys like that kind of stuff, but I know it would have been more exciting if there was more people. We had our normal setup, and there could have been a couple of co-hosts here to bounce off and chat to a little bit. So I know how kind of boring it must be to just listen to the same person drone on. So I do apologize for that. I know I've got the most exciting voice, especially now. But I thank you guys for watching and staying with me. And if you're watching on replay, just skip to the bits where I'm holding some Lego in my hand. The big fee would be sitting around with a bunch of merch that doesn't sell. Badges and stickers are an easy place to start, definitely safer. Yeah, absolutely. And the thing is, they don't even have to do Bricktastic 2026 because the logo itself hasn't changed in the last couple of years. So they could just do Bricktastic. Or even if they just did the Fairy Bricks logo, we would have been happy. Because when we picked out the Tombola bricks, the white brick was for minifigs. I don't know what the other 2 colors were, but I did see a pink brick because they were collecting them back up to put back in the Tombola, I guess, at some point. I did see a pink brick in there, and I had a print on the side. And when I looked a bit closer, I realized it was the logo for Fairy Bricks, which looks like, in case anyone needs reminding, the logo for Fairy Bricks is this. So it's in the top corner now. So obviously it didn't have the word Fairy Bricks, but it just had this kind of logo with the larger brick and the smaller brick, and you can kind of see the wings. Didn't have any like color in it. It was just a kind of one color print. But yeah, it was printed on the side of a kind of, you know, the side of a 2x4, a 2x2 brick. And I was like, oh, it's not the Fairy Bricks logo. And the woman was like, yeah. And obviously I knew why they did it because I've seen it before, but they do that to stop people from, you know, bringing their own of that color of brick and pretend like having it in their hand already, putting it in and being like, oh, I won one of the bigger prizes. Which is kind of sad that people would do that, but you know, I get they got to do it. But I did say to her, you know, can I buy one of those bricks? You know, we just did a charity event for Fairy Bricks. It'd be nice to have something like that we could, even if we just raffled it off or something. And she's like, oh no, they're just for this. We don't like make anything. And that was the woman who I then asked about merch, and she was just like, no, we don't do that. The money goes towards children in hospitals. As if, like, you know, I'd asked her to give me some money. You know what I mean? The way she replied. And I was just like, oh, okay. So anyway, what else? But no, I think it is a bit strange that you got nothing at all. Smokey saying that sounds like some kind of law where charities or charity events can't count merch sale as charity. That sounds weird to me. You might be right. I didn't even consider that, but you're probably right. But it is, you know, because it's all charity. It's the whole thing is organized by a charity, so maybe they're not allowed to take money to buy something. I mean, if that's the case, and I go to Bricktastic next year, I'll just say to the boys, I'll say, look, who wants to put 20 quid in each? We'll all put 20 quid in, get a load of stickers printed like this, let Bricktastic know we're doing it, get a load of these printed. I think 20 quid each between 10 boys, 200 quid. We could probably get a couple of thousand of these printed. Just give them out to people, not even make money off them. Give them out so the people have got something to go on with. I mean, if I could get that printed, I mean, it's only like a 2-color print, but with a 3-dimensional style. I want to say it cost me 40 quid to get 100 of those printed. So, you know, even if I could only do 100, like, I know that's 40 quid that could go towards a charity, but it's just, I don't know. Like I said, there's no money going into the charity then. But even if I said £1 for a sticker and all the pounds went to charity, I forked out the 40 to pay for them. For £1 each, I've made 100 quid for charity, and I wouldn't take the 40 quid back. But so that's my donation to charity, to create a £60 or an additional £100 for a charity. Do you know what I mean? I might even just do that myself. Obviously, I don't know how it works. You can't be in there taking money off people. But even if I say, look, we'll have a little table, we'll have a Fairy Bricks bucket there, we'll have them on the desk, and we'll just say £1 each. Give me £1. But I also noticed that it was most people paying by card, so people might not have a pound coin. You know, it could be that. I don't know. I don't want to get too much into it because I don't want it to become like a huge grumble. It's just a surprise. That was all. It was a surprise. And I think to everybody out there in the chat, including Mark, who knows how these things go, it's a surprise. I don't think any, and it's also a surprise that nobody who's been and talked about this event and boasted about this event and hyped this event up, I've never mentioned it. Never picked up on it because I think it's quite an important thing. A whiteboard Mac would probably get the L off and remove Sharpie, rub one over and wipe it off. Good shout. I use WD-40, which also works. Or also hand sanitizer works as well, apparently, without actually ruining the print. Is this the start of a new ARMS series? Oh, the AMSR. Accusing me of it now. I'm not sure what you mean by that, Lewis. What's up, lads? Just lurking and working. The Suburban Stuntman. How's it going, mate? I don't recognize your name, but welcome to the chat. Sorry if you commented that 12 minutes ago, so you probably missed it. But if you are still out there lurking, please sub to our channel. We're trying to aim for, I think it's 500 subs, where we can get some kind of official like logos that you can put in the chat. I don't think you can get like full, what do they call it? Not subscribers, because you subscribe just is the basic thing, but where you can now do that thing where you like pay monthly, that kind of thing. I don't think it's any of that. I'm not even sure I'd want to do something like that, but I think you can have like some logos for members to memberships. That's it. But yeah, so I think you can get that at 500 now. You need 1,000 subscribers to get full and 4,000 watch hours. Well, we surpassed 4,000 watch hours months ago because of the nature of what we do as content. But yeah, definitely worth trying to push towards that 500. We just surpassed 300 subs whilst doing the charity event, so I appreciate that. There was a benefit for the channel from doing that event as well, albeit only a handful of subs. But let's keep pushing those subs and supporting the channel as best we can, guys, because I want to try and aim for 500 next, which would be great. But yeah, back to the Suburban Stuntman. If you're new here, welcome. We're about to finish this out. We do the show every Sunday, 7 p.m. It's a lot more entertaining than this usually. There's a group of hosts. We normally have either a guest on, or we have a theme within LEGO that we're talking about. The next couple of weeks, we will be unpacking Bricktastic. We've got London Bridge Bricks on, aka Greg, in not next Sunday, the Sunday after, to talk a little bit about him. Perhaps we can put some of those questions that I've kind of put out there tonight to him. So yeah, but the show is usually a little bit more polished than it is tonight. But as you can see, I'm streaming from the hotel that I stayed in whilst here at Bricktastic, and it's our last night here. So after this, I'm gonna have to call it a day soon and do my packing ready for the morning. So, but yeah, thanks for being here. Cool Hand short stream longer than my normal one today. Yeah, well, actually, a short stream, the shortest stream we've ever done for this show, I think, is 2.25 hours. The longest we've ever done is about 5 or 6. So if I can get it to under 2.25 hours, then we are we're doing a lot better. Oh, wait a sec. No, it's 2 hours and 37. Oh shit, I was looking at the time down here and didn't realize. So yeah, you're right, guys. I have gone over, but I think our next shortest stream was 2 hours and 45. So if I can do it under 2:45, it's the second shortest stream we've ever done of this show. Stephen saying thank you. I'm guessing he's tuned back in. But yeah, great that you won the prize, mate, and we'll get that sorted and put it out to you ASAP. I put money up for that. Meant to say accusing me of putting name on Fig. Oh no, yeah, I just just Lewis just came to mind because the name on the back of the Fig was an L. So yeah, I tried to think of two of the lads' names, but I couldn't think of another name because I'm terrible. Yeah, it's 500 subs and 3,000 watch hours for super chats. Super chats, that's it. So 3,000 watch hours, blew that eons ago. I think we were up to 4,000 watch hours just within the first year. We've obviously kept building on that, so it's probably closer to 5,000 now. But and obviously maintaining it. But the 500 subs has always been the issue because I don't dabble in shorts. So if anybody out there likes playing around on their computer and would love to help support the channel, there wouldn't be anything in it for you necessarily, but if they'd like to support the channel by taking the content that we've currently got, i.e. these shows, and creating some shorts, even if it's just 1-2 minute short a week, then we'd be eternally grateful and you can help us. But and of course, if you're one of those kind of people and you're tech savvy and you're willing to prepare to do that, maybe we can make you part of the Cool Hang show. So let me know if you're out there and you're got enough time and the technical ability to do that. So Big Nate Bricks, why was I not already subbed? Mate, I do not know. go and sub. Sometimes I'll be surprised. I've been watching streams for weeks, even months, and they mention subbing, and I'm like, wait a second, have I subbed? And I just by chance go and look, and it turns out I'm not. So it does happen, mate. But I appreciate it. Like, obviously, you being here, chatting, interacting is more important to me than anything else, but a sub wouldn't go amiss. Also, Tom saying, yes, stud, and 1K subscribers and 4K watch hours for full monetization. Yeah, so the 4K we've got there as well. But again, I'm not really bothered about the whole monetization thing. I mean, if it comes, it comes, but it'll only ever go back into the channel anyway. So it'd be nice just to have some kind of payoff for everything we've done. And when I say payoff, I don't mean money in my pocket, because I know that's not what it looks like. Anybody out there who is monetized will tell you that it's, you're talking pennies. So, but yeah, I think for me it's more of we've reached it. Not going to do anything with it, but we've reached that target, because I'm that kind of person where I like to hit, like, if there's a competition to win, if there's a competition to achieve something, I'm in it and I'm really passionate about it. I don't care whether there's a prize or if the prize is nothing, or even if it's just bragging rights. For me, it's just that level of achievement. So when we reached 4,000, even though that got us nothing, it was like, yes, because it's a benchmark. And then we've got to 300 subs. Yes, it's a benchmark. 400. Yes, it's a benchmark. The fact that we reach a certain figure and it be whatever comes with it is kind of, I could take it or leave it kind of thing. So thanks for the stream out for the weekend. Back to the real world stuff. I got promoted on Thursday, so I have to be grown up this week. You got promoted on the weekend? I don't actually know what you do for a living, Sarah. I'm not going to ask you to share it, but sorry, my video was starting to pause and speed up again, so sorry if you've seen that. But yeah, congratulations, Sarah, on the promotion. Hopefully your week goes well. Or your week in your new role goes well. This friggin' thing is starting to play up. So congratulations, everybody give Sarah a dub in the chat, or congratulations, because this is really great news. And as somebody who's both been promoted and promoted other people, I know how good this feels, or how good this is to be a part of. So amazing. Right, what's he saying now? You have the subscriber count, stud. I hope you reach the watch hour minimum soon. Yeah. So one with the stud is pretty much the opposite to us, I guess. So he's got the subs, but it needs the watch hours. So I wish we could kind of share, mate, and give a little bit of each. Don't shoot up a school, weirdos. Not sure what he's talking about. That's something that tends to happen in America. I'm from the UK, so but yeah, and I think those are different types of weirdos. Those are weirdos who are into like guns and kind of dodgy stuff. We're just like plastic bricks. We just like collecting like minifigs. All our hobbies are indoor hobbies. So the idea of going out to any other establishment with any other kind of weapon, unless it's a blaster, is kind of way beyond our level of interest. The types of people who hang around in this chat are more like the type of people who are gonna slip on a Lego brick or hurt themselves taking a set down from off their shelves than to do anything dodgy. In fact, we're probably more the safest people in the community. We're the kind of people that you'd want looking after and teaching your kids, not the other way around. So not sure what that's all about. Kind of pointless. I started going up recently, nearly at 200. Yeah, nice one, mate. Currently streaming and trying to send people over to sub to you. Oh, mate, you don't need to do that, but I do appreciate it. Obviously, we'll, try and pay it back. The difference is that it's hard to get people to get viewers hours up for another channel. But I would say, guys, go and check out Lewis. He won with a stud. Great guy. We got to meet him here at Brick World, and he kind of hung with us for as long as he could. And yeah, he does regular streams on Instagram. I think he's on TikTok as well, he said, and YouTube. And he's more one of these guys who will do like regular updates and things that he's currently working on and just give you a regular update. I wish I could do something like that. Obviously, I started a mock 5 years ago. I can't remember the last time I put a piece on it. I've got a Lego room that I've been saying that I'm going to sort out for the last 2 years. I got a suitcase at home full of all this swag and all these goodies that I collected from Brick World in June, and I haven't even unzipped that case. So yeah, so not that kind of stuff here, but Lewis is very much organized, very much, this is my project I've got going on, this is the update, this is what I'm doing today, and just kind of regular, punchy, to the point, progress report type content, which I admire and wish I could be that organized, and wish I had that much time on my hands, if I'm honest. But the Suburban Stuntman is now all subbed up. Really appreciate it, mate. Thank you. And now go and check out One with a Stud. I think there's a way where you can click his profile. I haven't got a link below because obviously we did this on the fly, but you can click his profile. It'll take you to his without losing me. I'll be smaller into the corner, and you can go and sub to him. But of course, he's after watch hour, so he just wants people to go over there and check out his content. And please do so when you can. My Lego room is my bedroom. I'm about to clear out some stuff. Yeah, well, my Lego room is, if you can call it that, it's just a spare room in my house. And to be honest with you, this desk, which has got all sorts of crap on it, is probably tidier than our room. So I'm just trying to find the time to sort it out and organize it, unfortunately, but I'll get there eventually. I think the tidiest part of my room is the case behind me, and even that, from sort of waist down, is a mess. So where you guys can't see. Look, I'm going to call it a night. I can't believe I've been looking at the time down in the corner and realized that I'm looking at the wrong counter. So I was thinking this was a short one, but obviously not. And Kirsty said, when I said I'm going to keep it short, she said, yeah, I bet you ends up being 3 hours, which I'm hoping it's not going to be. But it's currently our third shortest out of 74 episodes of the show. So that should count for something. Catch the show, yeah. Catch it next week, 7 o'clock UK time. That's 2 p.m. Eastern. And hopefully we'll have more exciting. You know, we'll all be in our normal home. We'll be able to talk about Bricktastic on a wider scale, show off some photos, that kind of thing. Oh, I did say I was going to show some photos, so I will quickly show up a few. I just did 10. So this was my soapbox entry. When it loads. Oh, there's an issue with that file. Great. It's going to be the same with all of these probably now. I think they sent over when the what you call was playing an episode. That's annoying if they haven't sent across properly. No, there's an issue with my file. Sorry, guys. Oh, there you go. Sarah subbed. But yeah, for Lewis, One with a Stud, you need the viewing hour. So please take some time and watch a few of his vids. Yeah, there's a problem with these images. I did upload them. I just uploaded randomly 10 from my the 200 or whatever I took over the course of the weekend, and for whatever reason, they all seem to be corrupted. So it doesn't look like I'm going to be able to share them. Let's try one more. No, it's not working. Sorry, guys. But look, I'll have them all ready for you. And obviously, we'll have Rock Out with your Mark Out. We'll be back next week. The other guys, hopefully, will be joining me. A couple of them, Whittaky and Slurpy and Nimble at the very least. I'm sure Padawan and some of the other guys will want to come on. So maybe next week we'll do a Bricktastic reunited and get as many of the boys on who are at Bricktastic as possible. We're just talking a little bit about, maybe we'll just do 5 questions. We'll do like a a reel of some of the photos and some of the things that we took, some of our best pictures, some of our best mocks, and we'll do like 5 questions. So, you know, top mock that you saw, you know, best bit of food you ate at Bricktastic, you know, what was your favorite experience, what did you buy, what favorite thing that you bought, whatever. We'll just do something like that, and then just get everybody who can come on the stream to do it, and it'll be like Brickworld reunited kind of thing, or Bricktastic reunited. So we'll do something like that, so it'll be a bit more fun, and like I said, more co-hosts, more more of our back to our scheduled kind of showing, and make it a little bit more energetic and a bit more exciting and a bit more, you know, organized. So yeah, so thanks guys, gonna say goodnight now. Thanks for tuning in. Also, for anybody who hasn't already, go and sub to Witki's channel. We're streaming to both channels now, and obviously he's looking to get his sub count up as well, because I think he's going to look to try and do some short form content on there as well. So tried vlogging over the weekend, going to edit what I've got this week for a video, see how it turns out, but didn't vlog much. Yeah, mate, if you want to put together a video and maybe show her off on next week's show, please do send it across to us, or you can just share screen when you're on here, because I know you stream regular anyway. So if you want to pop on the show next week and show off what you've got, then we'll do that. But obviously what I will say is next week, anybody who comes on the show that's new to the show, i.e. if Lewis comes on, it won't be as a guest. It'll be as a kind of Brickworld reunited, and everybody just kind of sharing their own experience, because we like to do a guest as a guest, where they're like the showcase. We talk about them, their history with Lego, you know, where they're up to now, their content. So Lewis, if you do want to come on the show next week, great, but obviously we'll have you on as a guest on a show down the line, because, you know, everybody's going to want to kind of show off what they bought and stuff, so you won't get the full kind of service that you would normally get. So a link to Witiki, pass. So it's at Witiki with the KEE capital. You should find him there. If not, I think there may be a link, because he streams that channel as well. I don't know. I'm sure you can find him. But yeah, guys, that's me done. I need to go and rest my voice, have a cup of tea and a Guinness, because I got to drink 2 of them before tomorrow. And yeah, get some sleep and pack up my bag and pack away all these assorted goodies. Thanks, guys. Take it easy. See you guys next week. Hopefully post some bits and pieces in Instagram throughout the week, and I'll see you next week for Bricktastic Unpacked. Bye.